Heroes. Here.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
In Miami, we go to the beach for a little solcito. And when we want a low price, we know it pays less with your Pricito de Mayo at Doral Hyundai. The Thunder down the Lakers 108-90. Pistons took care of the Cavs 111-101. Both are 1-0 in their series leads. Tonight at 7, Knicks 76ers 9:30. You get Spurs Timberwolves. Colorado Avalanche took a 2-0 series lead, defeated the Minnesota Wild 5-2. Following last night's NHL draft lottery, Panthers are going to be selecting number 9 overall in a rough night for Sandy Alcantara as the Marlins fell 9-7 to the Orioles. The two play again today at 6:40. This weather report is brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting. Storm season is coming. Make sure your home is ready. Get your free roof and window estimate today. Visit tornadoroofing.com. Should be a clear day in the low 80s here in South Florida. I am Dan Day, and it's time now for the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
And a very good morning. Welcome in here on QAM. It is Wednesday. And yes, Joe is taking another ill day here today. We have Omar Kelly back with us. Dan Day is with us. I am Hollywood. Very good morning. First of all, I want to check in on Dan in there. Dan, how are you doing? I know you had a late night with your Cinco de Mayo festivities. How are we doing in there?
It's good. I feel about a year older, but overall, pretty good.
That's good. That's good. Omar, you look very well rested. I'm guessing you did not do much last night.
No, just dance practice. That's all we got going on here. We got like 3 hours of dance practice a day. So
do you dance? Like, do you get involved?
No, there was, I'm late to the game. There was going to be a mother's dance, and there's dance moms. So they're going to be backstage helping the girls get dressed. I would not choose that life for myself, but I also don't think that men are allowed to be like dance moms. So it's all good.
Yeah, I think it's probably for the best. Are you, like, if you go out, are you a dancing guy? Like, do you dance?
Oh, of course.
Go out? You
Absolutely.
do. So you got some moves.
Yes.
All right, one of these days, man, I'm gonna have to follow you out to one of these places and see you in action.
You know what I need from you and
What
your
do you
family?
need from me?
One, I keep getting invited to this pool and the barbecue that never happens.
That's true.
So I'm expecting some plans to be put together for maybe Memorial Day weekend.
When is Memorial Day weekend? That's the Aaron C show. So I have that in Miami on that Saturday, but I'm free any of the other days that weekend. So
okay.
I think that's in, like, what is that, late May? If I'm not mistaken.
Late May.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll bring you by, Omar. You come by and you can we'll grill for. And I gotta tell you, I have done the grilling thing. Now I bought one of those Traeger grills, which is like a grill / smoker.
Yes. You went with what everybody recommended for you. Mm-hmm.
I spent almost 2 days working on a stupid brisket this past time around. It's like a week ago, and
2 days.
I think I'm hanging up my apron. I just don't. It's too difficult, man. Like, I credit to the people that are able to do that and are able to cook those things and figure it out and whatever it is you need to do. Like, I tried so hard this time, and it just turned out terrible.
Did you try YouTube?
I've tried everything, man. I thought I followed the instructions. I even bought a spray bottle and I mixed like apple cider vinegar and apple juice, and I was spraying it every so often, and it just didn't work, man. It just didn't work.
Well, here's the thing, and I am a grill. I'm not a grill master, but I'm a grill apprentice.
Okay.
One, you're choosing the most complicated thing to put on a grill.
Yeah, I know.
It's like you're going, you're going from getting your restricted driver's license to go driving Indianapolis 500 or the Miami F1. Like,
So I need to ease into it. You're saying,
yeah, ease into it.
because
Like,
everything else I've made on it has been okay. Like, but
okay.
that one has just been disastrous.
Start with
It's
some
just
chicken wings. Go
is not
graduate to some
working.
salmon on wood wood smoked salmon.
Yeah,
You
salmon
could buy.
does turn out nicely. You can't really overcook stuff like that too badly. Like, it's probably a pretty easy thing to cook. But anyway, Omar, yeah, the brisket
It
thing has
might be
just been a
the
disaster.
kind of cut of brisket that you're actually buying, because I'm not a meat guy. I'm really I am still hunting for the best brisket that I can eat. What brisket is supposed to taste like. I know
In
you
town
are.
here?
Yeah, down here. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. I haven't tried all the I know, like, we've done barbecue recommendations. I have not tried all the places that people have suggested. There's a Shorty's near me. I do enjoy Shorty's, but as far as like really good barbecue, you've been to Texas and you travel for
Yeah, I
the
travel.
Dolphins.
I'm still trying to get to Texas. For the next time I'm in Texas, I'm gonna have some Texas brisket, because I need to know what the top shelf of what brisket's supposed to taste like.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem too. Like, I'm trying to make like that, and it's just not like it will never be close to that, no matter how good I get at it. Like, Dan, I assume, Dan, you've been to Austin, right? Like, you seem like an Austin kind of guy.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
on, man.
Dan's been to Austin. Dan's like the typical Austin person. But you've been to was Franklin's,
Stubbs, Franklin's,
yeah, Salt Lick? I've been to
Yeah.
over there. Like, there's some legit places over there, Omar, that we got to get you to. North Carolina has some pretty good barbecue if you're ever in North Carolina.
What I love about the barbecue when you go regional, like before my life used to be, when I covered the ACC and the Big Ten, I mean, not the Big East,
Mhm.
when I was covering the Hurricanes, my goal was to taste everybody's barbecue so I can know what barbecue around the world tastes like. So I've had North Carolina barbecue. I've had South Carolina barbecue. One is vinegar based, one is mustard based. I've had Kansas City barbecue. I've had Georgia barbecue. I've had Texas barbecue. Kansas City barbecue to me is by far the best, but that's a whole conversation for another day. So I've had I've graduated from that, but brisket is something that's new to my world, and I'm who has a good brisket, and it's the strangest thing ever, and I stumbled upon this accidentally at the Miami Heat games. There's like a brisket booth. It's on the 100 level, and they have like a brisket meal which is a ton of meat for like $25, and surprisingly it's good. So
interesting. Publix has brisket now. Like, they have brisket subs.
Yeah. I saw that.
Texas says Boston Market has good brisket. You know what's funny? Me and my boys were talking about Boston Market the other day. Yeah, there might be some locations left. I don't know.
Think so. I don't think so. I'm a Boston Market lover, and I believe every location has been closed.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. No, the last ones were one here in Miami Lakes and one in North Miami, and I believe both of them are closed now.
Gregory says Carolina. He said, how about Dave's Barbecue over by Santa Fe in Gainesville? I haven't really done a lot of Gainesville. Now, I will let you know about this too, Omar. I discovered a place called Buc-ee's, which I know Dan is smiling in the other room. Everybody knows Buc-ee's. We have Dee, who works with us here, wears like a Buc-ee's hat. Everyone loves this place. Yeah. It's like the most popular place in that there is. So I'm basically what happened was
great.
I got effed by Spirit Airlines. I was taking my family to North Carolina. We were going to Asheville for spring break, and I made the mistake of thinking, well, I'll save $500 on my airfare here, and I'll book with Spirit. And the flight never left, just never even got off the ground. So we rented a van and drove to Asheville, which is not something that I would usually do. I hate driving. I'm not a driving guy. I'm a road trip guy. But we went, so we hit the road at like, I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock. And I was like, I'm going to drive straight through as far as we can here. So we make it to Buc-ee's. And we went to the one in Georgia. They start, I believe, Dan, I believe they start at Daytona, if I'm not mistaken. And Omar, have you been inside of Buc-ee's?
Yes, I have. It's like a Walmart.
I couldn't believe how big it was.
It's how many gas pumps do they have? Like 50?
They at least must have 100. It looked like a football field of just gas pumps, and so I couldn't believe how big this place was. So we walk in, and it's late. It was like 11 o'clock, and I walk in, and they have every sort of food you could imagine, but they had brisket.
Brisket. Yeah.
So I got a brisket burrito.
Mm-hmm.
It was delightful. I was really honestly quite
you can
good.
Have anything you could possibly want, like cut meats, cheeses. I like their nuts.
They had fudge. Are you a fudge guy?
No, I'm not a fudge guy. No, I'm a candied nuts guy, and so yeah, I killed it on what's wrong with candied nuts?
I actually do like those, the cinnamon roasted almonds or whatever.
Yeah. Pecans. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, those are good. They come warm.
Wait, what was that again? Pecans? Where are you from, bro?
What are we supposed to what's called?
Pecans. It's pecans. And it's not just a South thing. I've gotten into arguments with a lot of Northeasterners about this. Look it up phonetically. It's pecans.
Boy, I don't think Dan Day's ever been madder at me in life.
No, I'm not mad. You're a journalist, man.
Sorry.
He's questioning your
pecans.
Although you did say you're a nut man, so maybe I should defer to you.
He's a nut man. But yeah, Dan, like I swear I was blown away by this place. Now I also, like I said, I went at 11 o'clock at night, and it was pretty empty. There weren't very many people there, and so I had a great experience the first time.
Yeah.
So cue the drive back, and it's like 1 o'clock on a Sunday. All right, we're driving back, and there's nothing going on. I mean, there's no NFL. No, this is spring break. This was a month ago, and I have never in my life seen a place more crowded than when we were going. And we had to go, right, because the kids had their hearts set on, the candy. They have this special Buc-ee's bags of candy, and they're buying stuffed animals and shirts, and oh god, each time I went in a place, spent $100. So we had to go on the way back. They have Buc-ee shirts. They have Buc-ee stuffed animals. My son, my little one, has this little Buc-ee. It's like yay big here on the only people that can see me are the people on our YouTube stream, but it like has like a clip, and it clips, and he's clipped it to his bed. There's Buc-ee's crap all over my house, needless to say. And I imagine we're going to drive again here when we go to the ACC kickoff in Charlotte, because I don't know, man. It's not that bad of a drive. I don't know that I want to deal with the airports right now. We had such a bad experience the last time. Like the kids were chill on the drive. It seems like the way to go right now. You're looking at me like I'm crazy, and I hate driving. I told you I despise driving, but it feels like the right move right now.
Gas is so high right now, but the
I wouldn't know. I don't drive a gas car, so I wouldn't know. But I guess I'll find out the hard way.
Keep bragging about this. I know your wife's car's not gassed. Everything.
It's not. But you know how far she drives. She drives less than 1 mile per day to drop the kids off. So
yeah, it's.
I do have to go. I have to get her an oil change because that falls under my wheelhouse, I guess, apparently. But. So I will be taking care of the oil.
It kind of does fall into your wheelhouse,
Yeah.
It's funny how, and this is probably not something to talk about, but it's funny how men.
Are you sure you want to do it before you do? You want to get us in the hole here at 6:15?
Yeah, good. It's 6:15.
Right, go ahead.
The expectations for men have not changed one bit in terms of what we're responsible for. However, the expectations for women has changed quite a bit, and a lot of it has changed, but men, our expectations have never changed.
Honestly, I'm not just saying this because it's changed the subject. I'm not sure where you're getting at with this, but I'm doing it for her as a favor. It's not that it's like my.
It's your responsibility. It's not a favor. It's your.
She also works during the day. So I don't. I do this with you in the morning here, and then I'm on my merry way. So I will have I basically have the day free, and now I may just try these barbecue places today that people are telling us. Sean says Mission Barbecue. That's in Davie. I know that's in Davie. That's near Nova. Hometown Barbecue says Fernando. I don't know where that is now. I don't venture too far into Miami anymore now that I'm a Broward person.
Yeah,
I've become that person.
Going? How's that going?
It's fine. It's fine, and I do find myself now. I figured this would never be the case.
I always hate when people describe things as fine. It's like, how'd that appendicitis go? Fine.
No. Well, my friends thought I was going to be miserable there. I'm not miserable there.
No.
I don't hate it. It's definitely a different speed than I'm used to. But like, I now find myself being, I am. I'm used to living in a downtown and all that. And it was, there's a lot going on. There's nothing going on essentially where I live. And that's fine. That's,
you're across the street from a park. I'm sure it gets a little action.
Nobody goes to that park. That park is empty. That park.
So that's just your private park.
It's basically my private park. Yes, I'm gonna just change the sign. No one will even notice. And put Hollywood Park. I don't even know what I was on the train there, but no, it's fine. It's definitely different, but I do find myself being that guy now when I have to drive into Miami. I'm like, I have to drive into Miami. The traffic sucks, and I always just thought everything was normal. Right. I thought because I spent my entire life living in Miami, with the exception, Omar, I spent the couple years in Boca towards the end of my high school career. And then I went to Tampa for school. I came back in 2009. I lived in downtown Miami since 2009. We moved in the height of the housing crash, and we were renting for $1,200 a month in downtown Miami. I know. And by the way, at the time, I thought that was nuts because in Tampa, the rent in Tampa was like, we were paying like $400 for a big ass apartment in Tampa. I mean, that place was, you talk about cheap. We were in like the sticks in Tampa, like by USF.
Yeah.
So it was cheap over there. But yeah, we've been in Miami forever. And I guess I just thought it was normal because everyone was always like, how do you deal with the traffic? I don't know. It's just part of it. But now that we're in the suburbs, it's definitely a quieter experience. So it's been nice, Omar. I didn't make it to any Heat games this year, which I'm a little disappointed in myself. But
how did you not make it any? Oh, because you don't live downtown.
Not as easy, my friend. Not as easy. It's not just jump on the train anymore. It's
I saw you at Panthers game.
Hit 95. I did make it to a Panther game. That, by the way, top of my weirdest thing. I told everyone the next day, I go, you'll never believe what happened to me at the Panther game. I am so Dan, you'll get a kick out of this. So I'm at the Panther. It's the second to last game of the season. All right. And I brought the family to the game, and we took the tickets from here. And I hadn't been to a Panther game in years. I think the last Panther game I had been to before that was the final, like the first final they were in, like 3 years ago. Anyway, I take my son to the bathroom. I'm walking out of the bathroom, and walking right at me is none other than Omar Kelly. And Omar, you caught me off guard. I did not expect to see you at this meaningless end of season hockey game. I just you caught me off guard. It was great to see you, but I didn't expect to see you there.
I was living the hockey life.
Now I don't know where you went after that because you never surfaced again. I said let's meet at intermission, whatever, and you just never surfaced again. So I don't know where you ended up. I don't know if you watched 5 minutes and said this isn't for me and left.
No. I watched the whole thing. I was there. I think it was overtime game. I can't remember, but
it was not as far as I recall. But
the Panthers won. Yes, and the Rangers pulled their goalie, and that was a little fun.
Oh, that was a Jonathan Quick game.
That's right.
Jonathan Quick's final game.
That's right. It was.
Send him off with an L in the Hall of Fame, but send him off with an L.
A couple of texts coming in here. This guy says a pellet grill does not produce the same taste as a wood burning smoker. Hey man, this is as advanced as I get. This is the peak.
I told you, you went too high. You bought.
I'm out of the brisket game for now. I need to build my confidence back up.
How well do you do chicken?
I mean, chicken's pretty easy, man.
I mean, I didn't
Like
ask you
chickens,
that.
just you stick the thermometer in and you make sure it's the right temperature. Pretty much everything is that you stick the thermometer in. But the problem with like the brisket is like the brisket, you have to cook it at like really low for like 8 hours or something, and then you have to take it out and wrap it in foil, and then or butcher paper or whatever, and then you have to cook it again for another X amount of hours, and then you're supposed to let it like rest in the oven for another X amount of hours at like really low heat, or you're supposed to put it in like a cooler. It's just very complicated, man. And for someone who has never done it before, it hasn't been pretty, Omar. I'll just put it that way.
I wouldn't even try to cook a brisket because soft meat is very tricky to try to make. You probably
soft meat.
Yeah, soft meat.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, Heat Cult brings up a good point, by the way, talking about Luka Doncic. I did want to talk to you about this LeBron situation and the Lakers. I got to tell you, man, I don't know when LeBron's going to retire. I wonder if there's some way for this dude to go out somewhat on top. I think they're going to get swept by the Thunder. I just think the Thunder are just too good. I mean, maybe they do it in a classy way and they give him the gentleman's sweep and let him get one. But this Luka Doncic thing is so interesting, man, because they got killed in Dallas for trading him away, and now he's hurt. And I thought, and I know we were going to go to break, but whatever, we'll just discuss it now. But I found what Luka did to be pretty unprofessional, and I know that Dallas for all those years was trying to get him to lose the weight and get in shape, and that he just refused to do it. And second he was traded, he lost all the weight right in the offseason there, and came in. He's looking good and he's thin, and basically as a screw you to Dallas. But it's like, well, you can't have it both ways, man. You can't be bummed out like they tried their best to keep you, and you wouldn't you wouldn't get in shape, but now you leave and you're gonna get in shape to stick it to them. Like it doesn't work that way. But man, it's a weird deal with that guy, and now he's hurt, and that team seems like it's just about on its way out here.
It kind of does work that way, and Luka got into the Hollywood vibe and probably figured out how to lose 20-30 pounds in the Kardashian way, and it is what it is.
Sean says LaFlop would have had his championships if he stayed in Miami. You know what? Listen, I wish he would have stayed. It was very entertaining to watch, no question about it. But what he did going back to Cleveland and willing his team to win that thing in 7, I mean, that was about as entertaining a finals as you'll ever see. That thing was pretty cool what he did in Cleveland. You just knew he wasn't going to be here long term. It wasn't going to be a 7-8 year long marriage. And we got 4 years of that dude's prime. And I go back now. I don't know if you've done this. If you have young kids out there, if your kids, like my son is 9 now and he loves watching basketball highlights with me. And we go back, Omar, there are videos all over YouTube of LeBron's highlights with the Heat. And they are unbelievable. They are absolutely unbelievable. The stuff that he did with D Wade down here, and Hong Kong's Mongolian here on our YouTube chat says Father Time is undefeated. LeBron is trying, man. He's trying to fight it, but
do you remember when Michael Jordan returned to the league and played for the Wizards at 38, and then he eventually
he
retired?
Played like the entire he didn't miss any games. Yes,
he played like 40. He finished his career at 40. Well, LeBron looks twice the athlete at his age as Jordan was. So
LeBron is freakish. We will never. I know we shouldn't say we will never see. I don't believe that we will ever see another athlete play at this level. In his 40s. And I know people are going to throw Tom Brady at me. Tom Brady was not the athlete in his 40s that LeBron James is. I know that Brady was still special and still won Super Bowls and all that. I'm not taking away from what Tom Brady did, but we will never see someone play a sport that involves that much just raw athleticism. What we see from LeBron, I mean, the guy's putting up damn near a triple-double in these games at 41.
What hockey player came out of retirement recently? And I think he played for the Panthers. Right? No.
Yeah, Jaromir Jagr played till he was like 60 with the Panthers. But I just think like the LeBron thing to me to play at that level at that age, and it's not even just his age, it's not just 41. You look at the amount of minutes this guy's played, the amount of games this guy has played. He has played, I don't know, we did this the other day. It's like 4 or 5 extra seasons when you add in the hundreds of playoff games that he's played in, right? And you talk about these playoff games, big minutes.
I think if you add his playoffs and his extracurricular, like, USA and everything, it's 4 full NBA seasons.
Yeah. It's insane what that guy has
he's already playing with one son. Why not wait for the second to enter the league? Why not?
I don't know that the other one is good enough. I think
that other one is supposed to be better than Bronny.
Which one?
The one that's at Arizona. Yeah, the youngest son is supposed to be better.
I don't know about that, but
he was always better in high school.
If LeBron wants him on the team, he'll be on the team, Omar. Speaking of joining the team, Alex Dono is going to join us when we come back. We'll continue our conversation here. I want to welcome aboard all of our YouTube watchers here this morning. Keep the chat going on there. We'd love to read all that stuff. And, of course, you can text us 305-567-0560. We'll let you know about our event coming up on Friday. If you got no plans, you're looking for something to do, you want to meet any of the QAM people, or you want to meet a Heat player, Davion Mitchell. He is going to be out there hanging with us. Boy, did he have a good finish to the season. So we'll get all the particulars on that for you as we continue on. Alex Donald will join us next on QAM.
Don't go away, because Baptist Health South Florida
our shows are there live or on demand.
Plus, there's the cool rewind feature where you can listen to any part of any show you might have missed.
Anytime.
I'm having trouble trying to sleep.
All right, welcome back in here on QAM. Enjoying the discussion so far this morning, and Omar Kelly is with us. Now Alex Dono has jumped into the mix here. Dono, you've joined a conversation here. We've been talking about barbecue, and we're talking about me moving to into the suburbs and becoming an old man. We've gone all over the map this morning here. Good morning, my friend. How you doing?
I'm always down for barbecue talk. Even at 6:30 in the morning, though, it's a little odd because I'm not quite ready for that yet. But I'm ready to talk about it, and I'm glad to hear you're finally moving out to the burbs because you've been holding on to that city life too long, man.
I know. And somebody said somebody ripped brisket this morning on here and said brisket is for people who can't afford a good cut of beef. Like I that's news to me because the one I've been buying is expensive, and every time I go to a barbecue place, it's the most expensive thing on the menu. So I don't know. Maybe that's
yeah. Let's keep the brisket talk to the educated because that's
I don't know. It's even a little bit of a weird take. Maybe I'm buying the wrong stuff, but it's
How much are you paying for your brisket your brisket meat?
I don't even know how much.
So the ones I've bought, I go to this Aldi place. Which again, now that I live out in the
you buy brisket from Aldi.
I'm learning about all these grocery stores now. Are you insult them too? Is that not okay?
Wait. That's the starting point of where you're going wrong.
Why is it going wrong? What's wrong with that place? I've been told it's a good place. It's no good.
Aldi is a good place. You're probably your most affordable grocery store. You're probably gonna save 70% on the money that you spend at Publix. Okay. However,
that's just not accurate. But continue on.
Well, it is accurate.
70%.
No, I'm sorry. You're spending 70% of what you would spend at Publix. I apologize.
So you're saying Aldi is 70% cheaper than Publix. That's what you're saying to me right now?
30% cheaper.
30% cheaper. Okay.
30% cheaper.
Okay. Fair enough.
Great fruits and vegetables. However, I would be buying my meat elsewhere. It's not that Aldi is bad. It's just a selection, and you're not going to get a higher level of cut. If you want to do brisket, I think you got to find yourself a butcher to get the right kind of meat.
I don't know any butchers, Omar. I go to the grocery store, and that just happens to be the store that I have found. Like, they do the briskets, and it's already cut for you. Like, it's just ready to plop on the grill. I can't go to, like, Costco, I know is like a brisket place. Like, I can't go and buy the full thing because then they ask you to cut, like, the different parts of it, the fat and the this and the that. That is never going to be in my wheelhouse. Like, that's just never going to happen.
And you wonder.
By the way, what's wrong with Walmart? Like, the guy doesn't like Walmart. There's a Walmart grocery store near me that I
don't have a problem with Walmart. I didn't say anything was wrong with Walmart.
Look, man, I don't have any problem with any grocery store. I'm an equal opportunity grocery person. I was at Publix the other day, racking up the BOGOs. I'm good with and whatever, but that's just where I happen to have gotten the brisket the handful of times I've attempted it. But I don't, I think it's the person cooking it that is more at fault than the place that is making it.
If you say so.
Just my thoughts on the issue. But nevertheless, Donna, welcome. I feel like you've stumbled into something that you conversation you don't want to be a part of here.
Love it. I kicked over a hornet's nest when I came in. I'm fine.
Absolutely. All right. Donna, we were talking about these NBA playoffs before you jumped in. The Pistons did win last night, 111-101. They took game one from the Cavs. The Thunder rolled past the Lakers 108-90. And this LeBron James thing is interesting, man. He at 41 years old, it looks like I can't imagine he wants to go through another season. And I know that he's playing at such a high level, but how much more can that guy put on his body? And it is starting to catch up on him a little. He's definitely missed time. I just wonder. And the sad thing to me is I love LeBron. I think he's been an incredible player for now multiple generations. of NBA fans, right? I mean, it would be sad to see him go out this way.
Yeah.
And that to me is
second round of
the
the playoffs?
unfortunate part. This is not, but you imagine MJ going out like MJ went out on top. Like, could you
No, he didn't.
imagine?
Did he
went
though?
out-
He
he went
came
out-
back
he
with the
went out
Wizard. Yeah,
Wizard,
they didn't
nobody-
make the
nobody-
playoffs.
Nobody considers the Wizards thing.
Yes,
that was more of
it
a
happened. I
it
watched it
happened.
happen.
but
Yeah.
that was more of a novelty tour. That was like
Him and Richard Hamilton, they went out
Yeah.
Wizards-esque.
the Wizards thing with MJ reminds me of the messy thing with Inter Miami almost. Like, you just want to get a glimpse of the guy. Like, you just want to see him take the floor. You don't care how well he plays. You just want to see him. Like, that to me was kind of like the
I think
MJ
there's
with the
no
Wizards
correlation
thing.
there. I really don't. I don't think people were at that point. I don't think people were, and I'm a big MJ fan, but I'm not sure I was going to a Wizards game just to catch a glimpse of MJ at 41. No,
He had that really. You remember he had a really good All-Star game when he was back with the Wizards, and he and Kobe were going toe to toe. Like that was like a bigger highlight than anything he did with the Wizards. Was at that All-Star game.
I can't
That
even
was when it was
remember
like-
if he made the playoffs with the Wizards.
I think he definitely didn't the second year. He might have the first year, but maybe not. You might be right. He might not have made the playoffs either time, which is it's kind of sad. But in terms of LeBron, I think at this point, I mean, go out any way you want to. I mean, you've been doing this now for a few years longer than anybody thought you would, and still at an incredibly high level. Like, we're probably not here to have the LeBron versus MJ debate.
No, we're saving that for Friday for Skip Bayless making his return to First Take with Stephen A. Smith. They're gonna spend 4 hours discussing who's better, and
they probably will. You're probably
Skip will
right
tell
about
us how
that.
much of a bum LeBron is. That's been his shtick for his entire career. So.
Real quick, Michael Jordan
Jordan
did not make the playoffs.
Yes.
With the Wizards.
Either year? Oh,
Neither.
sad.
Either year.
Those teams were terrible. Remember how bad those teams were? But I believe in his last season, he played every game.
He had a little drop off that last season.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but again,
But he played every game.
That was more of a goodbye tour, I just want to see MJ play type of thing. That wasn't like the Bulls MJ where he was going out to kill everyone.
If you look at how many times Michael Jordan played 82 games in a season, it's astounding by today's standard.
And you see why the people who loved basketball in that generation, why they complain so much about basketball this decade is because MJ used 82 games. That was normal.
He was putting on a show for you. I used to buy Heat tickets to Bulls games, sit in the nosebleed.
Same.
And I never had that doubt that MJ was going to play and put on a show for me. Never.
100%.
That is kind of funny
where
when LeBron comes down here. There's a major the last time we saw LeBron, I took my son to see LeBron, like I want to say it was a year ago, and LeBron was out at some bar in Brickell. Do you remember this? So they stay at a lot of the teams stay at that Four Seasons over there in Brickell. So he was out at some bar till like 2 a.m. in Brickell, and they were like, oh, they had video of him out there, and they go, no way he's gonna play. And he goes, he basically had said, I'll see how I feel when I go to the arena for for warm-ups or whatever. And he ended up playing. But yeah, he's been known to miss a game here and there, especially down here.
Yeah.
But LeBron, listen, I give LeBron a lot of credit. He never, does the load management deal as far as I can tell. He seems to want to play. And I know that he has missed some games down here, but yeah, I think everything LeBron has done for the game is incredible. What he continues to do for the game is incredible. He said that he doesn't want the farewell tour like D Wade, where you go to every city and they play a video for you and they honor you and you get the standing ovation.
And maybe the Heat will put your jersey in the rafters.
You say maybe?
I'm sure they will.
I mean,
I would think
I'm talking
so.
about during the game.
During the game? No. That's got to be.
Come on, why not?
That's a retirement deal. But the Heat will definitely get his jersey up there. I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, why not do it in the final game? In his final game.
Because I think that's a retirement thing. But
so, what you think? LeBron's going to fly here and have a retirement ceremony with Pat Riley?
I think LeBron's. LeBron's private plane, I think, will find its way to Miami at some point to get his jersey up in the rafters. Well, look, I mean, it's got to go up in Cleveland, right? It's got to go up in L.A.
Cleveland's got to have a
You would
statue.
think. I mean, he won technically he won a championship in L.A. in the bubble.
Don't technically that.
I love the NBA bubble, so I'll give him that one.
Yeah,
but it's definitely going up on
that
that thing they got in the corner of the Staples Center. It's definitely going up there. I'd have to think I wonder if they give him a statue at the Staples Center. They got that big statue thing out in front there. Do they give him the statue there?
How much do you worry about ownership change? Because he had a great relationship with the buses.
I don't, man. I don't. I think he's
decision.
LeBron is the first or second greatest player probably to ever play basketball. And again, we're not going to do the debate thing. I don't care. Like it's impossible to compare them anyway. He's going to get his statue. Now I think they should put a statue out in front of the Heat Arena. That was the most exciting 4-year stretch of South Florida sports that we've ever had and probably will ever have. I can't imagine, Omar, you've been covering sports down here your entire adult life. I can't imagine something ever being as polarizing
for 3 years
as what we had. It was 4
years.
For what we had here, like it was just such a whirlwind of just hatred and amazing play on the court mixed in with it, and it was just what a wild deal that was for 4 straight years. Like I can't imagine we ever get something like that again. I don't even know how it would happen.
We could get Giannis and build ourselves back. That's what we can do.
But even then, like if we were to collect like another group of superstars the way we had it, it's become so normalized now.
Yeah.
Like back then, it's like, oh my God, these guys want to play together. It was such a novelty back then, but now it's happened so many times. Like Hollywood's right; it'll never be that polarizing.
How many?
Again.
I mean, one, it's happened before us because rememst Houston collectively put themselves together. Charles Barkley, Charles Barkley.
But you're talking about corpses of like guys in Boston's big three. Those guys were somewhat corpsey as well.
They were okay. Boston had their big.
I mean, Paul Pierce was a good player, and I'm not gonna like sit here and say he sucked. He was a good player, not a great player, right? Kevin Garnett, excellent player. Ray Allen, one of my favorites of all time. So not going to take away anything from that dude. But that big three wasn't anything like what the Heat put together, right? The Heat put together 3 guys who were the top 5 players in the league in their prime. Like these guys were in their prime. Remember how good Chris Bosh was in Toronto?
Yeah, he was so good.
Don't say you don't know. Chris Bosh was really good.
Was Chris Bosh better than Kevin Garnett? No.
In his prime? When he came
close.
To Miami?
He was probably not quite as good as KG, but he was close. But the whole thing was everybody was saying, Omar, that's like, these are 3 of, and they were all saying it, these are 3 of the best 5 players in the league. They should be trying to beat each other, not play together, was the whole argument.
That whole AAU circuit and everybody get together and make super teams. I mean, we've probably been a decade into that. They probably grew up as some super team to play on the AAU circuit. So I think we're long past that. What I respect and like are the teams that organically put their big 3 together. The Thunder,
San Antonio Spurs.
San Antonio Spurs. They traded.
Well, San Antonio had, I guess you could call their thing a big 3,
My
right? Tony
goodness,
Parker,
they've got
Tim
21,
Duncan,
20, 21, 22. Their oldest player is 26.
Now they're loaded too. They had a tough loss in game 1. That's going to be a very intriguing series. All right, we got to take a pause. Chris Perkins is going to join us in the 7:00 hour. We'll get to some Dolphin stuff with Perk. We've done a little NBA, done a little barbecue. So we'll continue on with our 6:00 hour after this here on QAM.
Hey, Atlantic Men's Clinic. I talked about it
Just want to let everyone know we got our event coming up on Friday. We are hoping to have everyone out there. We want to see you out there. WQAM's Whiskey Stars and Cigars presented by Edmore Sawgrass Auto Mall. Again, Friday at Tabacone Cigars and Spirits Plantation Walk starting at 6 o'clock. Davion Mitchell will be there. Bernie, the Heat Dancers. So a lot of people will be out there. Nice Scotch whiskey from Johnny Walker. You get a cigar from Drew Estate. The event is free. Just stop by. Get all the info, WQAM.com. You do have to be 21 or up. We will see you Friday at 6 o'clock. Plantation Walk. Tabacone Cigars and Spirits. It is presented by Edmore Sawgrass Auto Mall. 4 brands, 1 location. Your local Cadillac, Buick, GMC, and Chevy dealer. I Hollywood Omar Kelly, Dono with us. What is it, Omar? Go ahead.
I remember attending last year, and here comes walking up Lawrence Taylor.
Yep.
Who is probably one of the greatest athletes of my lifetime. And I was just like, man, this is impressive.
Yeah, well, we will have Davion Mitchell this year. He is a good defensive player as well. Different sport, but he will be hanging with us. So I hope everyone can make it out. If you don't have anything going on Friday, it's a great spot, by the way. Tabacone over there, great spot. So we'll hang for few hours with you, and we'll get you set. You can head home. Nice and early start. Nice 6 o'clock start. So it's nice and early. And for all those people that have a very strict bedtime like myself nowadays, yeah, and Dono, Omar is like, screw
you're
that.
Strict.
I'm
you're
a
strict
man of the
bedtime,
night.
Dono?
Yeah, I mean, I usually wake up early. Got my son and everything, taking him to school some days. So yeah, I try to keep it early.
Okay, all right. What's early? What are you talking about here? Midnight?
Like 6:30.
Why are you prying? Why are you
Not
prying
as
into
early
this
as
man's
Hollywood.
personal life?
Hold on, wait. You go to bed at 6:30?
No, wake up at 6:30. I go to bed
okay.
like around 10:30.
Okay, all right. I know Dan's all night, so I'm.
Dan had an all-nighter last night. He had a rough one. I got home pretty late last night too. I got to tell you, we have this situation going on in my house. So we have to break here really quick, but there are these birds in our backyard, and I've read that it's mating season. That's what the online tells me. It's mating season.
It's a spring,
and
baby.
They're getting after it out there, man. They are loud. There's a lot of bird.
You're hearing bird
chirping going on, and it's very loud. Yeah. So I don't know, like, if there's a solution to this problem.
Somebody will get pregnant soon, and then they'll be quiet. You'll be all right.
Well, they lay eggs, right? Not how birds reproduce. All right, we got to go to break. 7 o'clock hour. Perk will join us when we come back here. The 7 o'clock hour is next on QAM.
Good time if you're a truck person and you're looking for a certain kind of truck, whatever it is, full-time.
Got it.
the Vegas Golden Knights with Vegas up 1-0 in that series. Rough night for Sandy Alcantara and the Marlins. They fell 9-7 to the Orioles. The two play again today at 6:40. And ESPN has released its post-draft NFL power rankings, and the Dolphins sit at dead last, number 32. Also, the Canes baseball team had to cancel their final midweek game of the year against FIU due to unsavory field conditions. Louisville comes to town starting tomorrow at 7. On to weather. It's brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting. Storm season is coming. Make sure your home is ready. Get a free roof and window estimate today. Visit tornadoroofing.com. Nice beach weather today. It's supposed to be clear, sunny, and in the low 80s. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
Welcome back in here on QAM. Hope everyone's having a great start to their Wednesday morning. We made it to the middle of the week. I am Hollywood. Good morning, Dono. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I've never been better. Happy to see you guys.
Omar Kelly is with us as well, presumably stuck in the bathroom or something. So we'll be rejoined. Dan telling me it was unsavory field conditions, Dan said. Never good when that happens.
Yeah, they had to come out 5 hours before the game and say that some weather had come in through the night and they could not play on the field. FIU fans are calling foul, pardon the pun, but I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully the field's good for Thursday, which is tomorrow for the Louisville series as they come to town.
So the FIU fans think that Miami just didn't want to play them? Is that what they're accusing them of? They didn't want that smoke?
No, they're done. Ever since the when did we lose to FIU in football? I know we're not supposed to bring this up.
Yeah,
like
2019, I think.
Yeah, it was 7 years ago now. And it's amazing how far that program has. Yeah, and Dono, I caught the back end of the post game shows with Manny there, and I know you do the post game here now on QAM, and the post game shows. I would imagine Dono would become a whole heck of a lot more pleasant over the Mario Cristobal era. Now I do the pregame show here. Where the pregame show is great because it's just everyone's in a good mood. It's game day, ready.
No matter what happened the week before, they're in a good mood.
Yeah, it's a new day, man.
He's cherry picking as he always does.
I'm not gonna lie. One weekend, Dono was taking his son to see Miami Stanford. So I did the 1-2 punch of Miami Hurricanes post game, followed by the Miami Dolphins post game. Talk about night and day.
Oh man,
Dolphins.
Oh, and it's funny you say that, Dan, because I filled in for you on like the first Dolphins post game last year. That was in that horrific loss to the Colts, and I was like, I never want to do this again. This is hell, like hell for 4 hours talking about that game.
You go home, you feel like you did something wrong. Your tail stuck between your legs. Like, what did I do today?
Imagine being the beat writer who people feel like has the connection to the team, and on Mondays after bad losses like that, they just want to make you a punching bag. I'm like,
I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but we always direct people to your Twitter account if they have anything horrific to say. We just ask them to go directly to you, Omar, because you are the lifeline of the fans. Like you are the person that's supposed to ask those questions, like the Toronto media asked yesterday. Like that's supposed to be you. You're supposed to ask Chris Greer, why do you still have a job? And be disrespectful.
My relationship ended with Tua when I asked him after that Colts game. You seem to throw interceptions in bunches. He's like, bunches, like unbelievable. I forget what his response was. It was.
Did you have any relationship with Tua though? Because he seemed like a guy who had a relationship with nobody down here. Like maybe some of his players, I'm sure, liked him, but he just didn't seem like the kind of guy that any media people had much of a relationship with.
I don't think anybody was buddy with him, but he was pretty cool to everybody. I think he loved Hal. I really do think he loved
Hal Habib.
Yeah, he had like a love-hate relationship with Hal.
Okay.
So
with the hate? What would be the hate with Hal? Hal is like the nicest guy ever.
Hate's a little strong.
Yeah,
but Hal, to Hal's credit, Hal asks probably the best questions of our contingent, and Hal always asks Tua some probing questions. So after, and you could hear it after Hal would ask him a question, and Tua took like a truth serum every single press conference, so he always had to answer the question truthfully. He go under his breath, Hal, like why'd you ask me that, Hal? Like, yeah, and then he'd answer the question, and
I give him a lot of credit. He was always very honest, and his answers were horrific.
You hated his honesty. Of all the people I know,
well,
you
some things you just there are some things you don't say out loud.
Yeah,
and again, I appreciate
I think with Tua,
you can't see over the line. You don't say that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in media relations explained it to. It's like you don't have to like answer everything truthfully. Like sometimes you can just kind of move on. You don't have to answer everything.
Like we know you're not Josh Allen. You don't have to tell us you're not Josh Allen. We know that. Like you don't have to. Hey, boy, that guy.
You're bothered that he admits
I can't do anything that guy can do.
Yeah,
we watch you play on Sundays, dude. We know, but like. The difference between being honest and just being like whatever he was. I can't see over my line. What do you say? The crowd noise at the home games too tough to overcome. Like there's a lot of stuff, man. Why are we doing this? I don't know why we're even doing this. We're in the Malik Willis era now.
That's right.
It has officially begun. I assume he'll be out there a lot, right, Omar? I mean, I know he's not a rookie, but he feels rookie-ish. Right, for a guy who's been in the league, Malik Willis, like he feels kind of rookie-ish to me, right? Like he's
absolutely
pretty green, right?
I don't know who said it to me, but it was said to me, and this always stuck. They view Malik Willis like he's a elevated rookie. He's got 6 starts under his NFL experience. That's 6 starts more than any of these draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he's been in the system for 2 years, but it's basically an elevated rookie.
He's never been handed the keys to the kingdom like he has now. That's the other thing too, right? Like
he's never earned it.
He is the starter.
He's never earned it either.
He's not gonna have to earn it now. He's got it.
Yeah, he's got it.
No one else
could.
No, he cannot.
Yeah,
they already said he's the starter. Don't try to create a controversy.
He's going to begin. What they've said is he's going to begin practice number 1 as the number 1. Now, whether he keeps it, I'm pretty sure he will. But Quinn Ewers can have a strong camp, and you're shaking your head, Dan. No, Dan Quinn.
If Malik Willis doesn't start game 1, the new Dolphins front office may as well they might just quietly leave. I mean, come on, man.
Can we speak to, though? I do want to say this. I was looking at the projected starting offensive line, the building of it. Now, I don't know if it's execution wise, but look at the capital we've used for all of our guys. Caden Proctor, 1st round pick. Patrick Paul, 2nd round pick. Jonas Savianaya, 2nd round pick. Aaron Brewer, we know that he's one of the great players. So the construction of the offensive line.
You forgot Austin Jackson, which was
Austin Jackson, first round pick. Okay, like just the construction of it. Now, and the execution of it, maybe not, but you have to say the construction has been pretty good.
Sure.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Omar.
I wish everyone could see Omar's
the talent
right
is
now.
Not very good. Jonah was probably the worst guard in the NFL last year. So
I know he's going to get better, though. Don't you imagine he'll get better?
Let's hope
as he continues to mature.
Let's hope. I think he took a mental beating last year, and how he responds to that is going to be critical. And he's Polynesian, so I have hope. Like they Polynesians are scrappy.
They're built different.
They're built different.
Yeah.
I just think you have to look at that offensive line as maybe the strongest unit on the team right now. You're shaking your head at me. What other? I mean, certainly Dan's right that they've invested in that unit more than any other.
It's the most invested in unit, which was a course correction after years of neglect.
That's not true. Greer put resources towards it. He just was not very good at evaluating the talent.
Okay.
No. But we were more worried about the offensive line than Chris Greer was. Remember? And then he laughed at you, Omar. He looked down from his podium at Omar and he laughed at you right in your face.
the good days.
Well, and there's a long
great
history
day.
of Dolphins execs and coaches laughing about the O-line. You probably remember, Omar, as I do, when Adam Gase first got to Miami.
Yeah.
And, people who had covered the team were like, because the guard play had been really
get
bad.
A guard at Publix? Yeah.
Yeah, well, and you remember, like, people kept asking Adam Gase about the guard plays, like, why are you guys so worried about the guards? The guards are going to be fine. Then the guards were terrible his first year.
He's like, I can get a guard at Publix.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you can't.
Like, welcome to Miami, Adam. You're going to find out how bad the guard play has been here.
Yeah.
In fairness to Adam, who I do like, you said that you can find a cornerback at a park.
You can find a corner. The one that they run hills. Joe knows which park I'm talking about. They're all
the one that Joe walks.
Yeah. Yes.
That's where we're going to recruit corners from.
They all go there and run those hills, baby.
Okay.
All the pro athletes go to that park to run those hills. I forget what the name of the park is. It's the one in Davie with the
Vista View.
Vista View. Oh yeah, Vista View.
I think it's, and I'm not sure. I don't quote me on this. I think it's a giant garbage dump that they've covered up.
Really?
I believe so. Is that true? Does anyone know if that's true?
The smell would still smell like a garbage dump.
You'd smell it, I think.
Yeah.
I've never been there. I don't know. Maybe
because whenever like you're on the turnpike and you drive by that Mount Trashmore, like you could smell it.
You talking about the one like near Boca?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. That one
smells.
There's one down south by you, Dono, where depending on when the wind shifts, that's
another one.
Like trash.
Yeah, and it's like PU.
There's one here around in like Hialeah Gardens, west of Doral. I don't even know what they call that, and that smells too. So
I mean, they got to put the stuff somewhere.
True,
right?
Yeah,
we got to save the earth.
Can't dump it in the ocean.
Nah,
I think people
Omar won't be able to have his fresh salmon anymore. So what are we going to do if we do that? Chris Perkins, by the way, is going to join us coming up here. If you have any questions for Perk, you can shoot those in on our YouTube chat here or on the text line 305-567-0560. But Dono, I look at this Hurricanes team and we're talking about the offensive line for the Dolphins and what the Canes did with the offensive line and the way that they built their team. I'm starting to come around on this whole building from the trenches thing. Like Mario's been onto something over there, and it really showed in the playoff, I thought. And there were so many times in those playoff games when the offense was struggling and they couldn't move the ball, and they said, you know what, we are just going to run the football. And you had a bruiser in Fletch who continued to apply punishment, but that offensive line, it was the difference maker. It was truly, and I'm not taking away anything for the defense, was obviously the strongest unit on the Hurricanes team in the playoff. That's not debatable. But that offensive line, when it needed to, it opened up the holes for that run game, and that basically, Dono, in my mind, was the difference in a lot of those games.
Yeah, and listen, Mario Cristobal, he's maniacal not only about recruiting offensive linemen, but then it's a great spot to develop them because he's a former offensive line coach and offensive lineman. As you've seen at practice, Hollywood, he spends a lot of time with that group in practice. And then Alex Mirabal, his offensive line coach, is one of the best in the country as well. So they not only get the guys in there, like the CC Maui Noahs and now Jackson Cantwell, they get the 5 stars and the high-level 4 stars in there, and then they also develop them. And I think coming into this 2026 season, it's going to be really fascinating to watch because this is going to be Mario Cristobal's offensive line 2.0. Because for the last few years, you had staple players who made up the 1.0 version, like Maui Noah, who's now off to the NFL, and Inez Cooper, who'd been there for the past 4 years, who's off to the NFL, Markel Bell, starting left tackle for the last couple of years. So this is going to be like the biggest reset that Cristobal has had now heading into his 5th year at Miami. And, listen, the early returns on that group is solid. You just have to see how they play together. And we've talked about the 5-star true freshman Jackson Cantwell, who like so far in practice has not looked like a true freshman. So we'll see like how
Left
much of a
tackle,
learning
right
curve.
tackle. What are we doing there?
He's gonna be left tackle, Cantwell,
Okay.
starting left tackle, and it's like he had about as good of a spring as you could have as a true freshman. And I know the defensive coordinator threw a lot at him and the defensive line coaches to try to confuse him. So I can't wait to see how Cantwell plays this year. But you basically have 4 new starters, 3 to 4, because really 2 of those guys were like co-starters last year in McCoy and Okunlola. But Jackson Cantwell probably going to be a starter, Max Buchanan, and Ryan Rodriguez at center. So it's going to be a different group than what Miami's had for the past 3 years. But I'm excited to see how they play because I don't think they're going to be a weakness on the team, but it's a lot different than the group from last year.
They've got to grow together. They've got to develop chemistry. Who's the right tackle?
The right tackle is Matt McCoy, who's one of the most experienced guys, but he was playing left guard last year. So he's shifting to the new position and new side of the line, but he's a fourth year guy. I think he's been around for a while. So he's one of the more experienced, but he's playing a new position. So hopefully he holds that down.
All right.
So the question for me, Dono, and I just have such high expectations for the defense after what we saw from last year. And Corey Heatherman, who is, in my mind, the best defensive coordinator in the country. How do they pick up right where they left off? I mean, that was some of those performances were remarkable. And that, but that's the problem, right? And that's a good problem to have. We've talked about it. It's a good problem to have. And you're losing guys in the first round. That's okay. Like Miami will take that. That's good for their business. But can the defense pick up where it left off and be a dominant unit once again?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think the interior defensive line play is going to be on the inside possibly even better than it was last year because you get Ahmad Moten back from last season, and Justin Scott, who had a good sophomore year last year, looks like he's going to be a top-line starter. So then, like, obviously you have the question on the edge. And, like, you look at guys like Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor, you don't just directly replace those guys. Like, those are generational players. So I think they're going to try to replace Bain and Mesidor with more of a rotation and more volume. Now, they did pick up a top-line guy, like Damon Wilson II, who they brought in from Mizzou. Like, he could be a first-round pick. Like, he's projected to be possibly that high next year. So in the pass rush department, I think Wilson can do a great job. I don't think he's as good of a run stopper, though, as Bain and Mesidor because he's not quite as big as those guys. So you may not get as much run stopping from the edge. But on the other side of Damon Wilson, Marquise Lightfoot, really good pass rusher, Armando Blunt, Herbert Scroggins III. So I think you're going to have more of a rotation there. So I think the defensive line can still be really, really good. And I don't think you're going to replace Bain with one guy and Mesidor with one guy. I think you're going to be replacing them with more of a rotation than what you had last year. And I can't wait to see how Jason Taylor coaches some of these guys up because outside of Wilson, who's a veteran, you've got younger guys who haven't played as much on the edge, but guys like Marquise Lightfoot and Armando Blunt have played really well when they've gotten their opportunities, but now their workload is going to go up significantly this year.
Yeah, there was such a good buzz at spring practice around that team. And you mentioned Jason Taylor. He is just a lunatic out there coaching these guys. He is so intense. And I got to tell you, man, to have your kid getting coached up by that guy, that would be imagine him walking into your house. Right, you got Jason Taylor, the Hall of Famer.
Remembers Jason Taylor.
But the parents, Omar, the parents remember him. So imagine if you're like the father of a recruit and Jason Taylor walks in. That's something.
But I think JT's still cool, man. Like he's still a cool dude. But Corey Heatherman has done an amazing job. Dono, I don't know how much time you've spent with Corey Heatherman. He appears on the sidelines to also be a lunatic. He was as nice as could be. We sat down. He was really nice. He had us, Joe and I, in his office, and we did an interview with him, and just as nice as could be. With these guys, when they are on the football field, it's all business. And Mario has a loaded team once again in Coral Gables, and I'll tell you, man, it is going to be a lot of fun when they finally get out there on the field. That fall practice is going to be great leading into a season that we looked at the schedule. Seems pretty manageable here for the Hurricanes to potentially make another playoff run. And in the 8 o'clock hour, because we are going to get to Chris Perkins next, I got to get your thoughts on this playoff situation, Dono. We're going to 24 teams in the college football playoff. Look, they want to expand the basketball tournament. They want to expand the football. They can call it a tournament now, not even a playoff. Just call it a tournament if we're going to let 24 teams in. These things are starting to get a little bit crazy. They want to get rid of the conference championship games, which I'm, to be honest, at this point, not all fully opposed to, because Miami obviously was like, all right, we didn't even have to play in the stupid thing.
Well, we better win the ACC this year, because there may not be a conference championship game the following year.
Yeah,
so
you better win it.
To be in the ACC and have never won the ACC football championship. You've won a basketball championship.
Yeah,
that is true. That is true. But I will tell you, man, I think you'd rather take a playoff all day than winning the ACC championship. But we will. Speaking of the playoffs, that's where the Dolphins are trying to get. How do we get there? We'll talk to Chris Perkins. He is going to join us on the other side as we continue on here on WQAM.
Loctite Impact Windows, Doors, and Roofing time. Yeah, I'm talking.
Amelia Escobar on FM 104.3, and you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
This report is brought to you by the Casino at Dania Beach. Come rock with Quiet Riot at Stage 954 May 30th. The Casino at Dania Beach has it all. Enjoy new, exciting promotions, the hottest slots, great shows, multiple dining options, live poker, and simulcast. Plus, new members can win up to $5,000 in free play. Join the fun at the Casino at Dania Beach.
Cool ways to listen to us.
Okay, I'd like to hear them then.
On FM 104.3 or on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Same great shows, same great games. Plus, you can use the rewind feature and listen to anything you missed. Go for it.
You guys end up drafting 13 players, like you said. And I'm sure, the draft boards kind of fluctuate throughout the day. There's obviously surprises here and there, but you guys were able to get Caden Proctor, Chris Johnson, Jacob Rodriguez, Caleb Douglas. Which one of these guys, out of the 13 guys, was probably the most surprising, where you guys were like, man, we weren't expecting him to be there, and he was, and it worked out?
Oh, it's good. Probably, if one guy I didn't think would be there when we took him was probably Rodriguez. I thought he would have been picked sooner. Just his college tape, I think the upside, I think the potential, I think the leadership capability, the playmaking ability, the production. I thought he would have been gone by that pick. So when he was still there, that one, we were all pretty excited about that pick. I mean, you could even say the same. I mean, I know for us, like Proctor, I mean, that when he was still available for us to pick then, when we picked, because we moved back and got 2 extra picks, and he was going to be the guy we took at 11, but we got him at 12 with 2 extra picks on top of it, which I thought was an awesome job by John Eric. With his size and his potential and how young he is, he's a guy that we could be looking at down the road, and people are going to say, wow, how'd that guy get drafted at 12 at a premium position with how young he is, how big he is, and how talented he is? That one, I think people might look back on in a few years and try to figure out what made him fall to.
Dolphins head coach Jeff Hafley there discussing some of his draft picks, and we are going to discuss more with Chris Perkins from the South Florida Sun Sentinel as we head out to the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Shop over 2,000 Toyotas on sale, one location, Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan, toyotaofhollywood.com. Perk, good morning. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, fellas, I'm on cup of coffee number 2, so I'm ready to work. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to go downstairs, get my workout, go to Publix, wash some clothes, and then go sit on the beach after that. How about that?
Quite a day plan there, Perk. My goodness.
All planned out, baby. All planned out. It probably won't go that way. You know how it is, right? Man makes plans, God laughs. But I'm hoping it works out that way.
Well, Perk, I want to ask you what you thought of the comments there, what we just heard from Hafley and discussing a couple of his picks. And listen, I know that there was a lot of backlash early on from the Proctor pick. I think they've laid their cards out on the table here. They were thrilled to get him. That was their guy from the beginning. Have things calmed down a little bit, though, around that pick and that it wasn't Ruben Bain? Has everyone kind of calmed down a little bit?
No. You know that things aren't going to calm down for years until we get a definitive answer on that. And for the Dolphins' sake, it better be Proctor. Look, I like their draft overall. I gave them a B-. There's room to question a few of these picks, right? The Caden Proctor pick, it occurs to me, you guys remember when the Dolphins said that, and I think it was John Eric Sullivan who said he was told that you have to take some doubles instead of trying to hit home runs. I think the Dolphins consider Proctor the double, and I think they consider Bain the home run. I think they consider Proctor more of a sure thing than Bain. I think maybe they consider that Bain has a higher feast or famine possibility there, so they took more of the sure thing in Proctor. Jacob Rodriguez, that's a pick. Proctor, Rodriguez, and Caleb Douglas are the ones that I could look at, and for one reason or another think the Dolphins either took a risk or they thought they were smarter than everybody else. Proctor is one of those risks because Caleb Downs or Ruben Bain might be a better player. Jacob Rodriguez, another one of those risks because 2 edge rushers were taken immediately after them, right? Zion Young of Missouri, Derek Moore of Michigan. They needed an edge rusher. They already have 2 middle linebacker, weak side linebacker types in Jordan Brooks and Terrell Dodson. But the Dolphins said they aren't afraid of competition and they're going to take best player available. So, Rodriguez represents that. And then, of course, Caleb Douglas, the wide receiver that from Texas Tech that everybody thought would go a little bit lower. And the Dolphins took him, where they took him in the 3rd round. So we'll see with those 3 picks. But again, I gave the draft a B-, and I really do think they think of Proctor as the double and Bain as kind of the home run. So they went with the safer pick in their mind.
I disagree with you, and I go the reverse order. I think they took Proctor as viewed him as the home run. Hafley's comments just now basically clarified that in terms of they think that in a couple of years people will be wondering how did he slip that far down the draft when most of us didn't expect him to be selected that high. But let me flip to another prospect. Jacob Rodriguez is the pick that I like the most. Obviously, it's a pick that Hafley liked the most because he didn't expect him to be there. I'm pretty sure he projected him as a possible 1st-round selection. Tell me, Perk, why we can't envision a lineup that includes Jacob Rodriguez, the rookie, as the inside linebacker, and Terrell Dodson and Jordan Brooks as the outside guys in this defense.
Neither Brooks nor Dodson is a true strong side linebacker. Kind of that burly guy who you need to be able to stop the run. Willie Gay fits that mold. I think he's the only one on the roster currently who fits that kind of strong side backer mold. However, I do think that Hafley and Sully are creative. And they kind of say, okay, this is your traditional 4-3, but we can play a 3-4. Or we can play some sort of hybrid defense where we get guys like Trey Moore and Kyle Lewis involved, who are kind of like, wild card, jack of all trades type defenders that you can put it at a safety or a linebacker or a nickel. So, while Jacob, to me, you have 3 kind of inside, weak side type backers in T-Dot and Brooks and Jacob Rodriguez, I do think that this defense, this coach, they have some kind of non-traditional roles or defense thought out that they're going to experiment with.
Perk, what's your expectation for Caden Proctor year 1, and how good do you think the Dolphins' offensive line can be this year? Because we're starving for better trench play.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I think Proctor is going to be okay. I've written that I think the floor for him is Jawan James. I think the ceiling for him is Laramie Tunsil. I don't think he's going to wash out. I don't think that he's a boom or bust guy. And I think Omar kind of said that about him in a column. But I think Proctor is going to be okay. To me, the big thing is, are Caleb Downs or Ruben Bain going to be better? And to me, that's the thing that can haunt the Dolphins. But look, Dono, I think the offensive line looks okay right now. If you have Aaron Brewer at center, you got Proctor at left guard, you got Patrick Paul at left tackle, you have Austin Jackson at right tackle, and then at right guard, Savai Naya. We'll see what Jamari Sawyer, the free agent, can do. I like Andrew Meyer as a backup inside lineman, center guard, although we haven't seen him on the field yet. But that's one step to depth. They still have a long way to go as far as depth, but I do think this offensive line shows potential to be the best offensive line they've had in the last 3 or 4 years.
Let's put some respect on what they did the second half of the season. Devon Achane didn't get to 1,300 yards on his own. They were pummeling people and creating holes, and Brewer was having a dynamic season. Do you think that they can pick up where they left off last year, Perk?
Yeah, I do. And look, I think one of the big things for this team, for this offense, for Jeff Hafley is going to be don't give Devon Achane 30 touches a game. At his heart, he's still a 191-pound running back, right? Nothing is going to change that. So if you sign him to this contract extension, which I think he should get, he deserves, which I think James Cook of Buffalo is a good model. The 3 years, I think 3 years for 48 with $30 million guaranteed, because at the end of this, Achane as a 191-pound running back, you put 3 more years on him, there's going to be some significant wear and tear on him. So try to preserve him as best you can during this rebuild, because I don't know what Achane is going to be like in 3 years. So to me, the offensive line can do a good job. The run game can do a good job, but you got to be smart with how you use Achane. You got to develop Ollie Gordon II and Jalen Wright. You got to develop your tight ends, Dulcich. You've got to develop wide receiver 2 and 3. You don't have wide receiver 1 this year. All designed so that you take some touches off of Achane so that he's fresh throughout this contract extension.
Perk, I know you said the Cook deal is kind of the framework, but do you feel comfortable giving Achane? One, he's not going to accept just $30 million. That breaks it down to 10 a year. Right now, he's sitting on the franchise tag, possibly, and what he's making this season, that brings him to 20. Even though I would never bat an eye at an extra $10 million, he's trying to stay up there with his peers. I believe the kid that signed at New Orleans is probably the new benchmark. But do you think that this deal gets done, Perk? I mean, and why would it get done when you're all crying poor all off season?
It's going to be a big test for John Eric Sullivan and Jeff Hafley's regime. Can it get done? Can you also do something with Aaron Brooks and Aaron Brewer and Jordan Banks, who also deserve extensions this off season? Somebody's not going to be happy among those 3. Somebody's not going to be happy either because they don't get an extension or it's not the amount that they want. I don't think any of the 3 should get the amount that they want in the spirit of giving back a little bit. Now, look, if you're Achane, you're a running back, you can't afford to give back because your career is so limited. If you're Brew and Brooks, you can't afford to give back because you're 28 years old. This might be the last multi-year contract you get. Somebody's going to have to take a haircut, though. I like giving Achane his extension because he really does. He's your, I don't know if he's your best player, but he's your most impactful player. I'll say that. Over Malik Willis, over Patrick Paul, over Brew, Brooks, Sealer, any of them, he's your most impactful player. Now, Brewer, Brooks might be better center linebacker than Achane is running back, but impact, you've got to do something with Achane. He's my priority as far as contract extensions.
Chris Perkins from the Sun Sentinel here with us on QAM. All right, Perk, let's talk quarterback here. Malik Willis, what are your expectations? Clearly, these guys, these Green Bay guys, they have, given us their thoughts on him. They think he's the guy. And, we're going to find out this season if he can be the long-term answer at that position. I know there's a big quarterback class coming through the draft next season, but do you believe that Malik Willis will show us in the coming weeks and months that he is the answer to the quarterback position for the Dolphins?
I think Malik Willis, used in the right way, can be the quarterback answer for the Dolphins, and here's what I mean. Use him in the same way that Seattle just used Sam Darnold, right? They didn't try to turn him into Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. They put a good team around Darnold and said, we need you to make 7 or 8 key plays per game. We don't need you to carry the offense. Just make these third down, fourth down, red zone, these types of plays for us to get us over the hump. If you do that with Malik Willis, he's got a chance to succeed. If you try to turn him into Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, I don't think it's going to work. So I haven't seen that type of pedigree or gene from Malik Willis. What I see from him is, look at a lot of these successful quarterbacks. Look, there's a reason that Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have not, right? Because they put a good team around Jared Goff. Both in Detroit and with the Rams, who he went to the Super Bowl with. He didn't take them to the Super Bowl. He was one of the main reasons they went to the Super Bowl. And I think if you take that approach with Malik Willis, if you're the Dolphins, you have a chance to succeed. Now, obviously, you have to build the team around Malik Willis, and that's going to take a couple of years, maybe 3 years. But don't make Malik the focal point of the offense, make him a key part of the offense, then I think you can have success.
Perk, when Steve Ross, committed to adding the tennis courts and the Formula One track, do you think did he know at that time that was going to come at the expense of Super Bowls, or was that something that kind of blindsided him after the fact?
Man, I don't know, Dono. I don't know what to think about this story. I was covering F1 and I wasn't there when Steve Ross made the announcement that they might not get another Super Bowl because they don't have all the facilities, the grounds to do all the entertaining and all that kind of stuff. I'm thinking about writing about this. I'm not quite sure what I would say, but I know that, look, on the outside, I think this is another affirmation to those Steve Ross detractors that, he's not serious about football, that tennis and F1 are the things that really make him go and he doesn't really want to win with the Dolphins. He's not serious about it. I do think that Steve Ross wants to win. I do think that this year represents a significant change in the Dolphins and how they're run, right? Because you look at who he's listening to now. Remember when he first bought the team, he listened to Carl Peterson, the former president and GM of the Kansas City Chiefs, right? He listened to a football insider, an executive. Then he started listening to other football people, Jeff Ireland, Dennis Hickey, Mike Tannenbaum, Chris Greer. That didn't work. Now he's listening to kind of football outsiders, right? Troy Aikman and Daniel Stillman, his son-in-law, who is a executive in his relevant sports group. Those two now have the significant voice. So that's a big difference in how this team is being run. That's a major change. And to me, it shows that Steve Ross knows what he was doing was not working. He needed to make a change. He does want to win in football, but I see if you can't have a Super Bowl, the message that sends is F1 is more important. So I've got to talk to some people about that opinion. That's kind of where I am right now. I know Steve Ross cares about football, but this appears that, if you're taking F1 and tennis over football, which should be your main thing, it sends a wrong message. It appears wrong. So that's kind of where I am. I don't have a definite opinion. I'm still kind of trying to feel it out. But I've thought about writing a column about that. I'm kind of up and down, back and forth on it.
Perk, better lay off the tennis slander, though, Perk. Joe's not here today, but he certainly won't like that.
Hey, you know what? Here's a funny thing. I used to consider tennis the best event in Miami when it was down at Key Biscayne. Now I think F1 is the best event in Miami. I love, and I'm not an F1 fan. I'm a Miami Grand Prix fan, if you know what I'm saying. It's kind of like being a fan of the Super Bowl, but not being a football fan. You like the parties and the atmosphere. That's what I love about the Miami Grand Prix. But at the expense of a Super Bowl, that's a tough one to take.
Well, Perk, the one thing I know we are eligible to get is a home playoff game. At some point, that's something they are eligible to get. So maybe we'll get to that, and we'll worry about Super Bowls at some other time down the road. But I do look forward if you write about that. I think it's a very interesting topic.
Yeah,
so,
I'll read.
Yeah, we'll check that out, of course, in the Sun Sentinel. Perk, thank you so much for the time. It's always great to talk to you.
All right, guys, we'll do it again.
All right, Chris Perkins from the Sun Sentinel. Make sure to check out his work there, and very interesting topic to discuss. And that F1's a big event for them. That is a big, big money maker. I don't know how that compares to a
bougie.
Super Bowl.
I mean, you host that F1. You can charge whatever you want to for the snacks. It's like unlimited.
Dono. I went out there and I saw some of those prices, and I was glad I brought some Cliff Bars. All right, we're going to take a pause. The 8:00 hour coming up next on QAM.
Right now, I want to talk to you before we go to break about Mike Ocasio at Choice Mortgage.
Odyssey Sports Station, the home of Joe Rose with Hollywood, Tobin and Leroy, and Hot Crowder and Solana. South Florida sports lives here.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
In Miami, you go to the beach for a little solcito, and when we want a low price, we know you pay less with your Pricito de Mayo at Doral Hyundai. The Thunder, they downed the Lakers last night while the Pistons took care of the Cavs. Both teams have a 1-0 series lead. Tonight at 7, it's Knicks 76ers. Then at 9:30, Spurs Timberwolves. Colorado Avalanche went up 2-0 in their series, defeating Minnesota 5-2. Tonight at 7, game 1 between the Montreal Canadiens and Buffalo Sabres. Then at 9:30, you get the Anaheim Ducks and the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas is up 1-0. Tough night for the Marlins yesterday. They lost 9-7 against the Orioles. They play again tonight at 6:40 right here on WQAM. Weather report brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting. Storm season is coming. Make sure your home is ready. Get your free roof and window estimate today. Visit tornadoroofing.com. Beautiful day here in South Florida, so enjoy. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
All right, welcome back in here on QAM. Hope everyone's having a good Wednesday out there. I am Hollywood. Dono is with us. Omar is going to be back momentarily, taking his kid to school here. So that's a nice thing to do. Dono, we have a little business to take care of here on the college football front. So I saw that the group of coaches got together and they were discussing the 24-team playoff. And it seems to have gained a lot of momentum here. Now, that would mean an additional playoff game for the teams that don't get the first round bye. Basically, what you would be looking at is no conference championship game. And I brought up Miami's schedule, Donna, just to run this by everyone here one more time here. So Miami played on Saturday, December the 20th. They played at Texas A&M. They went from there back to Miami, then back to Texas to play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl on December the 31st. They went home to Miami, then went back to Arizona to play in the Fiesta Bowl on January the 8th. Go home again, and you get to stay home for the national championship game on the 19th. So that is 4 games against arguably maybe the 4 best other teams in college football. Dono.
I think it was the biggest gauntlet anyone's had to go through to get to the championship game.
It was a vicious gauntlet of 2 of the top SEC teams and the 2 top Big Ten teams that you had to go through. And you had to do it in a month. You had to do it between Saturday, December 20th and Monday, January 19th. So like a day short of a month there. Man, that is a crazy gauntlet of games to go through. Could you imagine you add another one to that just to, throw another round of that playoff in there?
Well, and that's not, honestly, that is not the part of this idea that I don't like. Obviously, I mean, a 2014 playoff, anybody who wins, especially if you're not like one of the top 4 seeds or something, you're going to have to run through a gauntlet. But the part of this 24 idea, the parts of it that I despise, mainly the further devaluation of the regular season, because to me, it's like something that's always been paramount about college football, and it's diminished a little bit, but we still kind of have it, is it's the best regular season in sports by a country mile. Like the regular season in college football is so much more meaningful. Like basketball's kind of the opposite. They've got college basketball has the best playoff, but not nearly as meaningful of a regular season. And I don't think football is ever going to be able to commit that kind of a pivot where it's like, who cares if the regular season sucks? The playoff is so great. College football regular season is so awesome. But then the other problem with expanding it to 24 is like in college basketball, the difference between the top teams and the mid-majors, it can be significant, but it's not as big as the difference between like the best college football team versus the 24th best. I mean,
which we saw in the playoff, right? I mean, we saw, was it James Madison? So I have the playoff rankings pulled up here. So James Madison got in, they got waxed. Yeah. You would have had teams like Iowa at 8-4. You would have had Georgia Tech would have gotten in at 9-3, Houston at 9-3.
I mean, Duke, the ACC champs, would have gotten in with their 5 losses probably somehow.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a lot of teams at the bottom of this thing that just don't deserve to be in this thing. I mean, I know that like there's a handful of 2-loss teams like Vanderbilt, Utah, but there's a lot of 3-loss teams in here like USC, Arizona, Michigan. Tulane got in, they got smashed. So those are the kinds of teams North Texas was on the outside looking in. You want to let them in? Like those are the kinds of games I'm afraid that you're going to get. And I know that they're doing it in the name of money. I know that that's the only thing that matters anymore to these leagues. It's why the NFL is diluting their product and trying to add more games. And I'm the same way with the NFL. The more you add, the less the games mean, right? Like that to me is the cool thing about these football seasons is there's only so many games and they become big events, right? A Dolphins game is a big event. A Hurricanes game is a big event. You basically plan your entire weekend around it. It's not like going to a Heat or a Panthers game where you just carve out your evening. Like this is, sun up to sundown. If you're going to a Hurricanes game, right? You're going at, if it's, let's say it's a 3:30 game, you're there at what? 10:30, 11 in the morning, and you're there all the way till 8, 9 o'clock at night, whenever the hell you make it out of that stadium. Like it is a full day ordeal. And that's why, I just like the idea of these games staying as big events and stop watering down, stop diluting your product. And the other thing too, Dono, football is a game of injuries. We just don't need more. Less sometimes can be more. And I know that it doesn't help them with the money factor, but man, and you want to get rid of the conference championship games. I guess I'm okay with that. Right. I mean, they don't seem to serve much of a purpose anyway. And conference rivalries a lot of them have been going away because of all these teams moving all over the place. So I guess I'm okay with the conference championship games going away.
I mean, I guess. I mean, obviously they used to be more meaningful when it was a 4-team playoff or a BCS. The conference championship games have already been kind of half killed to begin with. And then the other thing is you take your playoff to 24. You basically put every other bowl game out of their misery, which I know has already been kind of a thing because so many players opt out of the bowl games anyway, but you basically kill those. So clearly if they take this step to 24, obviously they don't make that decision if they don't decide we're definitely going to make more money this way. Now, more money for them doesn't necessarily mean a better product for college football fans. We have to remember. And then the other part you brought up at the top, Hollywood, the fact that the Coaches Association came out in favor of a 24-team playoff yesterday. That's not surprising to me for this very simple reason, Hollywood. You get more teams into the playoff if you have 24 head coaches who get their team into the playoffs. That's better for their job security because it's like, wait, hold on. How can you fire me when I just got into the playoff? Forget about how big it is. You can't fire me after a playoff season. So it would make sense that the coach's interests would be aligned to, because listen, sometimes if you're at a big SEC program, maybe your expectation is you got to get into the playoffs. If you can't make the 12-teamer, you don't keep your job the following year. But if we double that thing to 24, that's better for the job security of these coaches. So that would make sense why the coaches' interests are not necessarily aligned with the interests of the fans. Because really, I think 24 is too much. And listen, up the theory that I've had on this, Hollywood, is, but it does seem like this might actually happen, but I've had my doubts about actually going to 24 because I thought maybe, and the Big Ten are the ones that are really pushing for this. The Big Ten commissioner, Tony Petitti, is all over this. The SEC commissioner, Greg Sankey, does not like it. He's fighting 24. Now, unfortunately, the commissioners of the ACC and the Big 12 don't have much say here because, the SEC and the Big Ten are the ones that run this thing. But with the SEC fighting this and the Big Ten pushing for it, I almost feel like pushing for 24 is to hope, well, maybe they'll compromise and we'll meet at 16, right? Maybe we'll meet at the middle. maybe Petiti is pushing for 24 because Sankey only wants 12, and maybe he can get him to meet him in the middle. That was my original thought on this, but it seems like this 24 is getting so much support from people outside of the Big Ten all of a sudden that it makes me feel like this might actually be a thing.
Yeah, and like the thing too is like, so the SEC would have had 7 if you go by the final CFP rankings. They would have had 7. The Big Ten would have had 6 teams in this thing, and it's like they didn't have enough already.
Yeah.
You know, Dono. I mean, yeah, you would have gotten a couple of extra. So there were a handful of Big 12 teams like BYU. Utah, Arizona would have filled a couple of the spots there. You would have had a couple of ACC teams fill some spots. You would have had Virginia and Georgia Tech get in. So essentially, this is a Big Ten and SEC tournament with we'll sprinkle in a few ACC, a few Big 12, and one group of 6. Right, like that. Yeah. That's essentially what this playoff turns into. And to me, like I look at the NCAA basketball tournament this past year. And it was, to me, the first round of the first couple rounds usually are the best couple of days in sports, right? They just are. The tournament didn't do it for me this year. And I love college basketball. It's my favorite of all the things we have in sports. That tournament, I love it. And it just didn't do it, man. The games weren't entertaining. They weren't close for the most part this year. Yeah. And I think you're starting to see the separation between the haves and the have-nots, right? And when all things were, I don't want to say equal, but when you had guys at these mid-major programs that were, there for all those years and would compete and would play together, and they'd come in, they'd upset these teams that were front-loaded with all these freshmen. But now these teams are investing so heavily into their basketball programs, and the schools that, these mid-majors, they just can't do it. They can't, afford to hang. And I think you saw it too in the college football playoff. They let a couple of those teams in, right? You let one from the American. You let James Madison in there, and they both got smashed.
Yeah.
Right. And
so, and I've told you this before, Hollywood. I feel like the group of 6 should have their own playoff, because I don't feel like you're ever going to see, especially in this day and age, a group of 6 knocking off enough Power 4 teams to win a championship. I feel like they should have their own postseason.
It's a tough call. Dono, and again, these schools have such a tough time hanging and keeping their players. I mean, you look at what happened to I think South Florida is a good example. Where I went to school, they just got completely gutted because their coach left, and the coaches will, they'll have a good season there. They'll have some good players, and they will leave, and they'll take all their players with them. Yeah. So it's a wild situation that we got right now. By the way, Larry Bluestein told me that Brian Hartline is going to join him on his program tonight here on QAM. So
I talked with Blue about that. I told him maybe Hartline, now that he's at USF, won't be stealing all the 5-star receivers out of Miami anymore.
Yeah, I'm guessing the Jeremiah Smiths of the world are probably not going to head over to Tampa. Maybe to play for the Bucks, but not certainly not the Bulls. But make sure you tune into our boy Blue. Blue still does a fantastic job for us here on QAM, so make sure to tune in there. All right, we got a lot of other stuff we wanted to get to here this morning. Omar Kelly is going to jump back in with us. A lot of NBA playoff action going on right now, but man, this 24 team thing, Dono, Texas says 24 teams are ridiculous. Must be all about the money.
Oh yeah.
It is. It's unfortunately happening in every sport now, guys. It's to keep complaining about it. Like, I feel like we're talking to the wall here, Dono. Like no one cares. They just want to make money. Why would you expand the NCAA basketball tournament?
Yeah, they're watched that thing going to 76. Oh,
yeah. Who watched it this year? Like, you know what? Wasn't enough teams. Just really wasn't enough. Who watched it and said that? And the problem again becomes you're going to always have teams that are pissed, that feel like they should have got in. You could let in 150 teams, and 151 is going to be pissed.
Right.
Everyone's always going to have a case for why they shouldn't have gotten in. And to be quite honest, Donna, watching Notre Dame get left out of the playoff this year was one of the great joys of my life. It was really fun to watch.
Same. But if anything, though, Notre Dame should have been in over Bama. Bama was the team that should not have gotten in. I know that people would say,
Absolutely.
well, Miami, but and Notre Dame lost to Miami, and the smart Notre Dame fans, there's like 6 or 7 of them, actually realized that Bama was the team that should not have gotten in over them, not Miami.
No, I'm with you 100%, but to see it happen to Notre Dame was just too fun.
It was funny. It was
too enjoyable.
And then they went on that crying tour. Like their athletic director was like doing tour dates around the country to complain about it. It was crazy.
And they're like, "Oh, we're guaranteed to get in next year." They messed with the rules and stuff. So, yeah, man. I think, by the way, Notre Dame needs to join a conference. It is just enough of this,
Well, but now if you're getting rid of conference championship games, this is less. It's like, why at this point? If they don't need I think they need less. They need a conference now at this point.
Yeah, you know what, Dono? I don't know where this thing is heading. I don't know if we're going to do that. Remember the super conferences thing? Remember they were talking about those super conferences? We were going to have
I actually like that idea.
Yeah. The thing that I would like to see, and if we could be choosing here this morning, is I want regional rivalries. I want regional games. I don't want to see Miami playing Cal at 10:30 at night. I just want regional stuff, man. Like I'd rather
be able to play Florida every year.
Yeah, I want to see Miami play Florida. Hell, I want to see Miami play USF, UCF. I want to see them play the teams in the state, like Cal and Stanford. Like they're opening up at Stanford. Like Stanford, really? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what that does for people out there, but like these and the Big Ten is just as bad. The Big Ten goes all the way to California.
Yeah.
So I just
they go all the way from Los Angeles to New Jersey with Rutgers.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I just think these conferences need to get a little more regional here if there's a way to do it. I don't know if we're going to rebuild and reset at some point, or maybe just make everyone independent and just have all the streaming services bid for your games like Amazon did with Duke.
Yeah.
We'll just have a bidding war. Apple and Netflix and Prime and all these companies can all just have a all-out bidding war for all your games. All right, we're gonna have Omar Kelly jump back in with us here. Speaking of a bidding war, and we'll have Omar talk some Dolphin stuff with us as we continue on. If you have any questions you want to send in here, we're on the YouTube chat at 1043 WQAM, or the text line is 305-567-0560. I want to read some of your texts when we come back as well. So continue on with the 8 o'clock hour next year on QAM.
It's the new year. Boy, I'll tell you what, South Florida Chevy dealers have never been more excited than they are right now about
On QAM, we have reached Wednesday. I am Hollywood Dono. Omar Kelly along here with you. Dan Day as well. Dan Day pulling the near all-nighter here, man. He had a big party yesterday for Cinco de Mayo, DJing, the whole deal, and he has made it in here. Good morning, Dan. Thank you for joining us here this morning. Appreciate you, as always.
I'm fired up, man. 3 cups of coffee and good stuff.
Yes, sir.
I never know when Dan Day sleeps. People haven't identified that time yet.
I don't think
he'll sleep when he's dead, Omar. That's when he'll sleep. Right, Dan?
That's it. I got too much living to do right now.
There
Catch
you go.
up.
And I used to live in the neighborhood with Dan, so Dan does live. You can find him walking the streets at night. Yeah.
Hey.
Thank you for that, Omar. I'm sure he appreciates that. Find him walking. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, speaking of the night, we have our event coming up on Friday night. WQM's Whiskey, Stars, and Cigars presented by Edmore Sawgrass Auto Mall. It'll be on Friday at Tabacón Cigars and Spirits Plantation Walk. We're going to get it rolling at 6 o'clock. So if you're a little bit of an early bird like me, like Dono, 6 o'clock, a nice start time. Davion Mitchell will be there to hang with us. Bernie and the Heat Dancers. We got Scotch whiskey from Johnny Walker, cigar from Drew Estate. Again, the event is free. Just pop on by. If you need more info, it's at WQAM.com. You do have to be 21 and up. We will be there Friday, 6 o'clock, Tabacón Cigars and Spirits Plantation Walk. It is presented by Edmore's Sawgrass Auto Mall, 4 brands, 1 location, your local Cadillac, Buick, GMC, and Chevy dealer. My Chevy dealer. That's where I got my car from. Go see Chris over there.
I got my Chevy too.
Yes, sir. Omar's part of the family, man. We recommended Omar.
Family.
We sent them over there, and Omar is all hooked up. You got the red Equinox, right?
Yeah, red Blazer, sir. Yes.
Oh, you're in a Blazer. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were part of the Equinox family.
I wish I was, because you now I feel bad about not going to electric. Now the gas prices are creeping up to $5 a gallon.
Yeah, man. I told you go EV, but you went old school. Joe is fighting the EV thing too, but I do like the EV. It's nice. You plug it in your house like it's like a phone overnight. You just plug it in.
What does it do to your electric bill? Like, is it a significant bump or?
So I was told, now again, I don't know if any of this is true, that there are off-peak hours where you get your electricity at like half price.
Oh.
And those are like after 9 o'clock or on
I know there was happy hour for electricity.
Yes, there is. There is apparently.
There's happy hour for electricity?
2 for 1.
This could be very, very inaccurate information that I'm relaying to you right now, but I don't think it's made much of an impact. To be quite honest, it's marginal if at best. So it's been good. It's a good deal. I do like. And this guy in the chat here is like freaking out. Man, I'm telling you, you should try it like before you knock the EV. They actually drive a whole hell of a lot better than gas powered cars. They're really quick.
I made the mistake because the sticker price was a little bit too high. And truthfully speaking, if I factor in the fact that I pay about $250 a month in gas, you put that $250 a month into your payment, it makes sense.
Yeah, because listen, the gas stations don't have a 2 for 1 like apparently the electricity does. Like I can't roll into the Shell station at 9:01 p.m. and get half price.
Hour? No, they're not doing that.
No, I don't think so. Can you imagine the lines?
Yeah,
Danny, you're right though. There are off-peak hours and even off-peak like times, like even parts of the year that are even cheaper.
Beautiful.
No wonder my bill is so low because I only use it like in the middle of the night, the computers and stuff.
Yeah, because you're never home. That's
never home.
point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because as Omar says, walking the streets.
The streets.
Yeah, he's just out there. And Heat Cold says, yeah, considering the gas prices, lease an EV or a hybrid. So in my experience, the hybrids are a little bit of a clunky drive. The EVs are they're so smooth, man. They drive beautifully. I test drove a few over there. They were all great, and I'm very, very happy.
Yeah, and it's the future. I think California by 2028, you're not going to be able to own anything but an electric car.
Really?
Yeah, it's a state law.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's extremely that gas is really ridiculous over there as it is, and that was before we had this gas crisis that we're about to embark on. So, yeah, I feel I have regret. You told me to get it. You told me to get it, and
did.
I said I'm not a leaser. I don't want to lease, and lo and behold, I'm now being shaken down for gas prices.
And the lease, by the way, the lease is great over there. So if you make it over to Edmore's, just ask for Chris. He'll get you all set up, and there you go, man. Guy says FPL tells us to run the pool pump at night. It's less expensive. Yeah, there you go. And FPL does have a program. If you don't have a charger in your house, they have a program where they will come and put one in, and you get free nights and weekends. And I think it's like I want to say $30 a month, maybe. Don't quote me on that either, because again, my information relaying could be quite inaccurate here. But anyway, yeah, that I don't know how we got down this. Someone said, "What about your insurance?" I think it's the same. To be quite honest, I don't think it changed when we got the car. The only thing that did change, and this was really weird. I know no one really probably cares about this. When we moved from Miami to out in the Broward suburbs, like we're away from everything over there, our insurance went up slightly. And I left what I imagine is the most dangerous driving place on earth.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I
odd.
can't imagine a place being more dangerous than Miami.
Highly has got you. But you
That's
left
part of Miami, is it not?
Yeah, it's no, not really. It's kind of a third world country in Miami.
Okay, I'm sure they'll appreciate that. But it is part of Miami, nevertheless. But no, my point was that like we moved out where there's less cars and less chance of crashing. I'll probably get one today now that I'm saying this. But there's less chance, and they raised the rates. They were like, no, it's more expensive in Broward. I didn't quite understand that, but nevertheless, FPL Evolution, that's the name of the program. Miguel says he has a Ford F-150 Lighting, pays $31 a month for unlimited charging. Yep, FPL Evolution, that is the one. There you go. The federal government stops states from mandating electric vehicles. Whatever, drive what you want. Let them drive what they want. I really don't care. But if you are looking for a car, I do suggest you go at least give Chris a shot to earn your business over there, because they are the best. And there you go. That's my speech on cars for the morning. All right, gentlemen. We do have some sports going on here, and we have the NBA playoffs going on. We got a couple of games coming up here that I want to get your thoughts on. And one being this Knicks series, this Knicks and Sixers series. I just find to be incredibly intriguing here. They're going to go at 7:00 tonight. The Knicks are favored by 6.5 points. I wonder if the Sixers can find a way to bounce back. Now, the Knicks have won their last 2 games by 90 points. Ugh. That is not an exaggeration. Usually you add a little exaggeration into that. That is not an exaggeration. They have won their last 2 games by 90 points. Can the Sixers hang in this game tonight and even this series, or do they get blown out again? Dono, any thoughts on this one?
I'm very, very concerned. I know the Sixers are probably tired. They had the Game 7 victory against Boston. They played a bunch of games in short order here. So, man, I hope they can bounce back from that fatigue, because the Knicks, what is their past 3 games? They've won by at least 25 points.
Yeah, I think it's like a plus 130 or something over the last 3.
I mean, I'm just hoping at some point the Knicks take their foot off the gas a little bit and let the 76ers get back in this series, because I'm really concerned, because I'm an old school Knicks hater, and I want nothing more than Vlad to be happy. I don't want Vlad to be able to brag on these airwaves with Dan Day on the weekends. I don't want to hear my guy Richie from Boar's Head. As much as I love him, I don't want him to be happy. So I'm hoping the Sixers can bounce back.
Well, I'm getting sick of this nonsense here. We're always talking about the Knicks at this time of year now. Where are the Heat, man? We haven't been talking about the Heat. I feel like we have had Vlad. Dan, I feel like when we do the Aaron C Show broadcast and I jump on with you guys, like it's like late May, and we're talking about the Knicks with Vlad. And I don't want to be talking about the Knicks anymore, man. I know the Knicks are good for business, but man.
Listen, I'm very curious about this series, because we're supposed to have a Karl Anthony Towns and be just battle royal. They've been talking trash on social media. They've been going at each other. And I want to see this hit the courts.
I don't think Karl Anthony Towns is going to battle with anyone. I am not a Karl Anthony Towns fan. I'm not a fan of his style of play. I'm not a fan of the way he acts on the court. I don't like anything about him.
You calling him soft like Embiid?
Nope. I don't want to say that this morning, but and by the way, man, Embiid is not soft. Embiid is
no. I said Embiid called Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh, right. But Embiid is like, I feel terrible for Joel Embiid. Like, it's obviously not his fault that he's always hurt.
Prone.
And he's like 7'3", 900 pounds. Like, he's got a lot of weight on that body. So, it's hard for him to stay healthy. Like, it's
you don't
not
think
his
Shaq had a
fault.
lot of weight on his body? Shaq didn't have these problems.
Well, Joel Embiid does, Omar, and I don't. I do feel
Shaq had a lot of
bad
problems later in his career. I mean, like early third, because he was like 33 his third year with the Heat when his body started to break down. So I think he had some problems.
Well, anyway, that game is tonight, and then the Spurs getting a bunch of love here again. Man, they're 9.5-point favorites over the Timberwolves. Wow. No one's buying into the T-Wolves here. This guy, Anthony Edwards, is unbelievable. You talk about a guy that is fun to watch. He just can't get out of his own way. He struggles in those post-game press conferences. Omar, you cover a lot of different athletes. I wonder if at some point he will get the wake-up call and will start taking things a little more seriously. I'm not a huge fan of like getting up at the podium and cursing and all that stuff that he does. I know that sounds like I'm being kind of a square here, but like handle your business and just go on with, like, you want to be the face of the NBA. That stuff's not really going to fly.
Did you hear about the off-court stuff too?
I know he's got some problems, yes.
Like his baby's mamas have teamed up to come after him.
I do know he's got some problems there.
It's never good.
Now that's a little bit of more of an uncontrollable.
I mean, he just
what
wants
you can
to
do is not get up to the press conference podium and drop F-bombs every single night. Even when you win.
To pay his child support in one swift payment. Here's $1.5 million. Raise a child on your own.
A couple of texts coming in here. This guy says Shaq was big boned and muscle. Yes, Shaq was big boned. You want the Knicks to do as well as possible because they will not blow up their team and try to get the Greek freak if they think they can win. That's interesting. I think they'll still probably try to pursue him, but I think the Heat have a pretty decent shot there. This guy says, Omar, the cheapest house in Hialeah is $700,000. Says it's expensive.
No way.
I have no idea.
How many bedrooms are we talking here for that much?
Yeah, I don't know.
Cheapest house in Carroll City is about $700,000. What are you talking
really?
It's prices of houses.
The market is the market, as Tua would tell us. 704 says he rented an EV for the first time last week, went to Disney for the weekend. It was a nightmare trying to find a charger. That's a rookie mistake, my friend. I made the same mistake the first time I went to Disney as well.
So
I did a full charge before I went, and I figured, there's got to be a bunch of chargers somewhere around Disney. It's a little bit of a dicey situation. They're trying to find one. I finally found them, and they were at the downtown Disney. I had to go like the top floor of the parking garage, and they were the slow chargers, and it was not a good situation. Now,
well, because I remember
figured out how to do it better.
Yeah, well, like years ago, like because EVs have gotten very popular. I remember like 10 years ago when they first, because there's a few EV chargers at every Disney parking lot, but there's not that many of them. But if there's one open, you can park like right in the front of the entrance. So like that used to be like a hack back in the day, but now like 30% of the drivers have EVs now, so you can't get a charger.
So the way to do it, if you ever do it again, is you stop at like Fort Drum or one of those rest stops. And you do the full charge there. You make the rest of the trip up to Disney, then you charge on the way back at one of those things. That's kind of the way to go about doing it, because those rest stops, those turnpike rest stops, have like the super speed chargers. So you go in, you just run in and go to the bathroom. Your thing's charged by the time you get back. So there's a little hack there for you. How long does it take to charge the car? 786 asks. It depends on what charger you have. They have high speed and that. Like I have a low speed charger. I just charge it overnight and it usually gets the job done. I'll start at like 9 o'clock and wake up. What do we wake up here for? Something. So usually gets the job done. And then someone asks how much of the battery is going to cost to replace. I lease the car, so that is not my problem. I have no idea. I'm guessing it's quite expensive, but that is not my problem. That's why it's probably a good idea to lease an EV if you're going to go down that route. All right. This guy says you can get a mansion for that price where I live now in Eastern Tennessee.
I believe.
I don't.
That,
Where's
but,
Eastern Tennessee? What are we talking? What's in Eastern Tennessee? Is that like? So I think I've been to all the places in Tennessee now.
It's near Nashville.
Okay.
Nashville, North Carolina.
So I've been to
Not bad.
Nashville. I've been to Chattanooga. We just went to Gatlinburg recently and Pigeon
Gatlinburg's awesome.
Forge. Gatlinburg reminds us, and my buddies go. It's like I drive.
Yeah, it is.
In the
So I drive on like the side of the mountains. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of like Ripley's Believe It or Not over there, like trying to draw you in to spend your money to see the little touristy stuff there. But it was cool. It was a cool place. Went to Dollywood, the amusement park over there. That was I believe that was in Pigeon Forge. If I'm not
Hey,
mistaken.
I heard there's something like a lodge water park in like the west coast of Florida.
Yeah, Naples area. They got the Great Wolf Lodge now. We're gonna take my son there at some point. It looks fun because we're pale, Omar. We get sunburned very easily. So if you say indoor water park, you're speaking my language, man.
The sun attacks you on a daily basis.
It does. Like, and if I put on like SPF 40 or something, like I've got to reapply it like 5 times. You're telling me I can go to an indoor water park and not have to worry about that? I am in.
I hear you. I hear you.
I'm with you on that one, Dono. I am with you 100% on that one. Anything that's indoors, the sun is not my friend. Now, Joe just turns like a nice shade of brown when he gets all sunburnt.
Yeah.
And he doesn't he just goes out and plays tennis and all this, never wears sunscreen. Like he's just, doesn't burn for some reason. I'm like you though, Dono. I'm out there for a couple hours and it's pain. All right. Speaking of pain, we gotta take a pause here. We got plenty more to come. Hollywood. I am Hollywood. Omar Kelly is with us. Dono is with us. Dan Day is with us. Joe out sick today. Hoping to get him back tomorrow. We'll take a pause. More to come here on QAM.
Do want to tell you about a couple of guys
need your time when everything's wrong. You make it right.
Dan Day with the DJing here this morning. Hollywood, Omar Kelly here with you. Thank you to Dono for hanging with us this morning. Dono had to take off, so thank you. Dan, were you doing the one ear thing there with the headphones? Did I see that? There we go. Look at Dan. He's got the whole thing. You got to put the thing in the front, like John Summit. There you go. Now we're talking. And he's got the Newmark headphones too. My son keeps asking me for a little DJ set and get him like the Newmark DJ in a box thing that they have. He could DJ in the backyard. Hope everyone's having a great Wednesday morning here so far. If you'd like to reach us, you can here on our YouTube chat. A lot of people are jumping in here. We're having an EV discussion, Omar, on the text line here at 305-567-0560. This guy just said you spent another 20-minute segment talking about your EV. I very well may. We've talked about a little bit of everything, man. We talked about barbecue. We've talked about EV. We had Dolphins and Canes and
no one's had
NBA playoffs. A little bit of everything this
No
morning.
one's had the smart comment yet. When Joe Rose is here, it's all about ED, but when Danny's here, it's all about EV.
That's
classic.
There you go. That's a good one. Joe is out sick here today. Hopefully he'll be back with us tomorrow. And Omar, you are 2 days away from getting forced back into work here, my friend. You will be in Miami Gardens for rookie minicamp. How exciting! We'll get to see the
I
rookies
still
in
call it
action.
Carroll City, by the way, just for the record. Because
You what?
I still call it Carroll City. Like
Okay.
I'm not. I'll never call that place Miami Gardens. Sorry.
Well, what's the history behind that? Did it change? I mean, is it
Yeah, it name change.
well,
Yeah.
Carroll City's still there, no?
No, not really. It's
Okay.
it's in Miami Gardens now. But yeah, Carroll City, the
Okay.
high school is still there. But we
Gotcha.
still call us old schoolers, we still call the community Carroll City.
And I like that you're wearing the shirt, by the way, this morning to represent your high
Yep.
school, which
We-
you said
we-
it says there's putting together some good players, right?
They
Putting together
have
some good
they
teams.
have a superpower. They are building a superpower. We've got all the star players in the county. We've got a very physical offensive line. We've got a young quarterback from Chaminade. We got everything. We're like the University of Miami. We're breaking it off down there.
Nice. And if you want to hear some high school football, Larry Bluestein will be on our station here this evening. So make sure to tune into that.
He's going to have
following,
Heartline on. That's quite
Yeah,
impressive.
man.
I'm going to have to listen.
Are
to
you a
that.
Heartline fan?
I am a huge Heartline fan. He's probably one of my favorite Dolphins.
Really?
I've consistently been in communication with him about his Ohio State receivers and players
Mhm.
coming out of Ohio State, and I'm a big Heartline fan. I wanted him to come to the NFL and coach receivers, but Hardline's all about that college game. You should be very thankful he's there at your university.
I say this as very as respectful as I can, but I don't like the negative energy you bring to the University of Miami. I would prefer that you didn't bring that towards the USF as well. So we need to keep. I need to keep you away from my two programs here. All right, we're going to keep you. You stay in with the Dolphins at the training facility, and you watch the rookies. And Dono and I will handle Coral
I
Gables.
actually wanted to go up there for Heartline's spring game and watch him do his thing. I mean,
Your invite got lost in the mail. I made sure of that. I'm a very powerful alum over there, Omar.
you are you're like the Stephen
Very
Ross
well known.
of
Very well
USF.
known. Yes, I am the Stephen Ross of USF. Exactly. My name's on all the buildings over there.
You call
All
the
right.
shot.
We got in the 9 o'clock
Did you
hour.
know,
What?
did you know that the business building's in Dolphins colors?
At Michigan?
Mhm.
So I actually called a game at Michigan many years back. I went up with Gino Toretta. I called a game up there with him, and I was like shocked at the amount of Stephen Ross stuff there was all over. Like he's got a presence.
He's the
over
big
there.
dog. That
Yes.
was his first professional program. Yes, before
Yes.
he became the Dolphins owner.
And I can see why he likes it. By the way, it's a really what a nice campus. It's a cool area over there. I can see why he's involved. But did you see this other story? Mark Cuban coming out and saying that he fronted the entire bill for the Fernando Mendoza NIL, which is like, obviously. But man, that is crazy where we are at in college sports, where we got billionaires stepping in to pay for quarterbacks.
Hey, won him a national championship, and he's got them where they want to go. I was always, because I remember the first person I ever heard about Fernando Mendoza from was Joe Rose, And I was thoroughly impressed watching him at Cal. And Joe was pitching the idea of him coming down here and placing Ward. And obviously, University of Miami wasn't in the bidding or couldn't afford him, or he didn't want to. I've heard so many different theories about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say couldn't afford him.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
definitely not.
Yeah.
That's not the case. But hey, man, look, Miami did just fine for themselves with Carson Beck.
Yeah, they got a third round quarterback over there. Might be the future starter of the of the Phoenix Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals.
Mm-hmm. You cover the NFL for a living, yes?
Yeah.
By the way, I got to tell you, so
season.
ESPN is ramping up their coverage of the WWE event that's coming up in Tampa this weekend. What time is it? We're in the 8:00 hour of live ESPN television. This is on like ESPN 1, not the Ocho. Like, this is straight up ESPN, and they have Paul Heyman on discussing the World Heavyweight Championship matchup between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu.
We're pretending like this is a real sport. So, okay, carry on.
Well, real sport those guys clearly put their bodies through a gauntlet. Like they do.
Absolutely.
And I'm getting on board a little bit, man. I'm starting to watch a little bit more nowadays. It's on in the house. The kids like it, so I'm starting to get back into it just a little bit here. We're gonna take a pause.
Decided though, you do.
Yeah, but I don't know who's gonna win. Do you?
No.
Who's gonna win? Roman Reigns or Fatu?
Give me Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I think Roman Reigns just won the title back. Steph, did he just won the title back at WrestleMania, right? Yeah. Steph says yes. So anyway, that's coming up on Saturday in Tampa. So we'll be watching that here this weekend. Chris Perkins going to join us here. If you missed it, he was on much earlier with us. We'll run that back for you later on in the 9:00 hour. We got a bunch of texts coming in. We will be happy to read. And if you have any Dolphins related questions that you'd like to know about heading into minicamp, we will relay those over to Omar. So rookie minicamp begins on Friday. So if you have anything for Omar, shoot it over on the YouTube chat or on the text line 305-567-0560. We will get to those with Omar when we return. The 9:00 hour is next on QAM.
Right now, though, I got to tell you,
1-800-747-3733.
In Miami, we go to the beach for a little solcito, and when we want a low price, we know you pay less with your Pricito de Mayo at Doral Hyundai. Tonight, got some basketball games. Knicks 76ers at 7. Then at 9:30, you get Spurs Timberwolves. You want some hockey? Tonight at 7 o'clock, game 1 between the Montreal Canadiens and Buffalo Sabres. At 9:30, Anaheim Ducks and Vegas Golden Knights. Following last night's NHL draft lottery, the Panthers are going to select 9th overall. The Toronto Maple Leafs get the first overall pick. Rough night for Sandy Alcantara and the Marlins. They fell 9-7 to the Orioles. The two play again tonight at 6:40. And the Canes baseball team deemed their midweek game against FIU unplayable because of bad conditions at Mark Light Field as far as the field is concerned. They will open a 3-game series against Louisville tomorrow at 7. On to weather. Is brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting. Storm season is coming. Make sure your home is ready. Get your free roof and window estimate today. Visit tornadoroofing.com. Beautiful weather here in South Florida. Mostly clear skies, sunny, and perfect for the beach. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
Look, if you had one shot or one opportunity.
Hey, welcome back in here on WQAM as we kick off the 9 o'clock hour. Hollywood, Omar Kelly, Dan Day here with you. Steph, she's calling you. Omar, we have a story that we need to address here. I know Joe would probably want us to talk about this, so in his memory, we will talk about this. Joe's out sick; they'll be back tomorrow.
His memory,
yeah. So this story is on the front page of ESPN.com. It's not something I personally care about. I don't know if you do either, Omar. Bryson DeChambeau, personality-less golfer, said on Tuesday that he is prepared to grow his YouTube channel and play in tournaments that want him should Live Golf not be able to survive this season without Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. Do you care about any of this golf nonsense with these guys?
No.
Anything for you?
No, and I also don't care who takes Saudi money. Like, I'm sorry. It's not. And I know there's a huge controversy about who takes Saudi money and who.
Yes, there is, Omar. There is a controversy behind that. Yes.
How dare people sign with Live Golf and participate in their league? I'm sorry. I don't.
Some people feel that way, Omar, and some people have lines they're not willing to cross. I don't have to tell you.
Cool.
I think it's called morals or ethics. Or one of those things.
Don't be selective about it. Be consistent with it. And Saudis fuel just about fund a lot of things. And in fact, they're buying sports franchises and or trying to buy sports franchises.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are, Omar. And producing movies and okay. So
I don't know about movies. I don't know what movies they're producing, but anyway, I just thought this story was kind of funny that this guy is so the PGA Tour and some of these guys can't come to terms here. So
PGA Tour gonna close them out. Gonna say,
well, yeah, because these guys left them. They left and they took the huge payday, and now they're trying to get back. So if you were looking for Bryson DeChambeau. If you are one of the 3 people that care what he's up to, he will be on YouTube, I guess. Should Live not survive any further. So about 20,000 people that watch those Live events that are going to be crushed by this situation here.
It is brutal. Some of those Live and some of those Saudi soccer games. Whew.
I've never seen a Live event. I don't want to lie to you and be a total fraud. I've never seen a Live event. I know that their viewership is comically low.
It's terrible.
I think they're on the CW and YouTube. So that's my extent of my knowledge on Live Golf. Omar, we did promise that we would get to some listener questions here for you.
Absolutely.
And let's see, Omar, do you think the Dolphins will finally run a more QB friendly offense that will allow Malik Willis the freedom to call audibles or change plays?
How did they not
goes on
have a
from there, but-
QB friendly offense during Tua era? Because that was quite QB friendly. It was driven off what Tua wanted to run, his style, his approach. You didn't see him making audible checks and changing plays at the line of scrimmage because they had a lot of motion and things of that nature built into the offense. But I'm not sure offense can get more QB friendly than what it was for Tua.
We have someone that keeps texting in that wants me to ask you about your Noles. I asked, like, you're a Seminoles fan. You are not a Florida State Seminoles fan,
I used
are
to
you?
cover the Florida State. No, I'm okay with it. I used to cover the
It'd be
Seminoles.
news to me that I would not know that. I didn't know this.
I
didn't
covered
get
the
any
Seminoles
ties to
for
it at all.
3 years before I covered the Hurricanes. So I'm a Tallahassee resident. I covered during the Winky, Peter Warwick, Lavernius Coles era. So I
Okay, so
was
you go
part
way
of
back.
Billigate. Yeah.
All right, you go way back with that one. Let's see here, Omar.
Lamont
Omar, do you
Green,
think
Menace? Yeah, I'm old school. I'm old school.
you are old school? So you've covered the Noles, the Canes, and now the Dolphins. So those are your
Heat too. Covered
those
the
are your
Heat for one
beats.
season.
Did you?
Yes, I sure did. I covered
right.
the Zoe Kidney year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that must have been an interesting time to be around there. This guy on our chat here, Happy Evelyn, says he's talking about the ESPN ranking. I did see ESPN has the Dolphins like dead last in the power rankings. Not that matters, I guess, but it's never good. You never want to be dead last.
I don't care about.
Are they, Omar? Are the Dolphins the worst team in football? I guess would be the follow-up question to that.
I think Arizona would be in that battle. I mean, do you want Jacoby Brissett or do you want Malik Willis? Me personally, I would rather have Malik Willis. There's probably more upside to it, and I'd probably rather have Quinn Ewers than I'm not going to say who, but it's. I'm a lot more comfortable being the Miami Dolphins than
You're going to say that before Carson Beck takes a snap in the NFL, right? I mean, you're going all in on this before he even takes a snap. He's probably going to be the starter there.
Probably
in week
is.
one. I mean, he's got a shot.
They got to ensure themselves that they can get their Manning. So you go with bad quarterback play.
Why would you spend a third round pick like the first
on Carson
pick
Beck?
of the third
I would
round?
ask the same
first
question.
Pick of the third round.
I would ask the same
like,
question.
but if you don't think he can play, why would you nobody would do that? That doesn't make any sense to me.
It shouldn't make any sense to you to use a third round pick. Let's take the homerism off and let's put it in perspective. Carson Beck did not play big time.
Humble and kind one says any QB would look good on Green Bay. Yeah, they've done a pretty good job over there. Port Miami Mike. Good morning, Miami Mike. This is not very nice from you. He says, I'm doing the show from my unfinished studio apartment. This is the WQAM studio, sir. So I'm in the studio here in where are we? Miami Shores, or whatever this area is called.
You're in damn, what the hell was that?
El Portal.
El Portal, yeah.
El Portal. Steph gives you a thumbs up on that one.
Let's call it Upper East Side.
Yeah, I'm actually at the studio this morning. So we'll have Steph hang some. Steph, can you hang some posters or something back here for Port Miami Mike? So you can have some more stuff in the background there.
Nemo, or it changed so many names. It's I just call it Upper East Side.
Well, isn't that Memo thing? Isn't that where Jimmy Butler's coffee shop is?
No, that's the art district.
That's not the same thing?
No.
All right. Let's do this, Omar. We're going to take a quick pause. Chris Perkins is going to join us here towards the end of the program. So we will talk some Dolphins with him. Texter says Willis will be out for the year by game 6. That's nice.
You know what's interesting? I think his style opens him up to injuries. Hopefully his body is a lot more durable than because he's the same size frame as Tua. Hopefully his body's a lot more durable. One thing I did discover from Jeff Hafley when he talked to Richard Sherman's podcast is that they really like how he's able to throw the ball on the run, and the accuracy he has throwing the ball on the run. So that leads to a lot of broken plays, and hopefully that can be the Dolphins offense. Him scrambling around, throwing it deep. I can see it happening.
All right, we're going to take a quick pause. We got a lot more Dolphins talk to come. Little Haiti, is that where we're at, Omar? No, that's a little south of here, isn't it?
You're actually
I
Little
think
Haiti.
that's a little south of here, no?
No, you're in Little Haiti. You're El Portal is kind of Little Haiti. So I think you're more Little Haiti than El Portal.
Okay.
It's had so many different names, and they've gentrified the names, and just call yourself the Upper East Side.
Well, we're in a building called the Citadel. I just put that in the GPS, and it tries to show me which highways are not shut down early in the morning when I come in here. All right, Omar, we're going to take a quick pause. We got a lot more to get to. Chris Perkins will join us, and more questions coming in here on our text line, 305-567-0560. Rookie minicamp kicks off on Friday. More with Omar Kelly when we return.
Right now, though, I want to tell you about Atlantic
gives you cash back every time.
Now, call 305 Kendall today.
Heavy delays continue out of Broward County. This traffic report is brought to you by the Casino at Dania Beach, I-95 and southbound. You're slow from Griffin Road down to Sheridan Street. Also, Miami-Dade. Slow moving along the Dolphin Expressway eastbound from 137th Avenue to 87th Avenue, and seeing that backup along Florida's Turnpike and northbound from Biscayne Drive to the Don Shula Expressway. That's traffic. Amelia Escobar on FM 104.3, and you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
Real quick, got a stock market update by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. The market has opened up, and right now the Dow is largely up. It is up around 356.35. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
We've got plenty of ways for you to listen to your favorite shows and favorite teams on WQAM.
How is that, if I may ask?
We're at FM 104.3, or you can listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps. Check it out now.
You know, I've never felt like this before.
Oh, welcome back in here on QAM. Hollywood, Omar Kelly, Dan Day with you. Omar, I'm not going to ask you this question here. This guy 561 says, will Bain make all rookie before Proctor gets out of Weight Watchers? I'm not going to ask you that question.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I'm not even asking you. And by the way, for another text, another day we're doing this, I would not be too concerned with Malik Willis's first pitch. Patrick Mahomes did the same thing, so maybe he's in good company with that one. I
really wonder what's so challenging about throwing a pitch from the pitcher's mound to home plate. No, Dan Day? No?
Dan, hang on, Omar. I believe that there's a way we could set this up where we could have Omar throw out a first pitch. I really now I want to make Omar eat his words.
Yeah. I just want to know. It was a question. I didn't think.
Your fight with Crowder has seemingly fallen through. I think Crowder chickened out or something.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, he's just not going to answer the call here, man. I mean, it is what it is. But
don't do that. Do not provoke Crowder.
Not provoking anyone. I mean, I just I thought we had something brewing.
Maybe whiskey, stars, and cigars on Friday. You can set up a ring
out there.
I got my daughter's recital. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Omar's got the recital. He's going to be ballet dancing, so he won't be able to take to the ring. But I think that we can certainly arrange you to throw out a first pitch, and I think even better is we can give as many tickets as possible to our listeners who can boo you just ferociously as you enter the field, as you leave the field after you blow the pitch. Like I am all now. This is an idea I think we can execute. I am all in on this, Dan Day. I would love to see Omar throw out a first pitch because I think it's a whole hell of a lot harder than he thinks.
As long as it's not me, I'm down.
I'm just wondering, Dan, you have this opinion that throwing out a first pitch is hard to do?
It mortifies me. Too many things can go wrong. You can look too stupid. Too many people have looked stupid. Patrick Mahomes looks stupid. What's his name? Malik Willis looked stupid the other day.
My thing, Omar,
Carl Lewis. I mean,
you will get out there, Omar, and the problem becomes like, first of all, it's farther than you think.
Yeah,
the mound is higher than you think. Like I'm assuming you've never been on a major league mound.
I have been on a major league mound. I used to cover baseball back in the internship days, so I'd be on the field at Fenway Park. I know how high the mound is. I know how long it is.
We're talking about 20-something years ago that you might have walked on a field for a minute.
What do you think? It moved? The mound moved? It shrunk?
I think that I am going to reach out to the Marlins today.
Oh, stop it.
And
listen.
We have a great partnership with the Marlins. They're great partners of ours here at QAM, and I think that we might be able to maneuver this and set this up.
Column about this because I really don't think it's that difficult. I really don't. I'm not sure. I would
fine, but here's the trade-off though. I get to write the Herald column about your failure if you go up there and you throw and you airmail it or something. Like I get to write the column in the Herald. And whatever kind of English I can put together in a column.
Listen, here's the thing. I always wonder, do they allow Malik Willis, like I saw him in the batting cages, do they allow him to warm up?
Take as many warm-up pitches as you want, man.
No. They showed him in the batting cages.
Did they give him? I don't know. Ask him when you see him. You'll see him this weekend.
That's true. I will. No, I won't. I actually
whenever you see him, ask him. But I am telling you that pitch is much, much more difficult than you are making it out to seem, and I would love to have you do this. I just think that this is something that is doable.
It's an interesting concept. Do they allow warm-up pitches? Like, do these guys actually?
You can do whatever you want. I will be happy to allow you whatever it is that you want.
I'm just wondering what the process is. Do you
Somebody said, they go, he's a professional athlete. He should be able to throw a baseball 60 feet. He's a joke. He actually threw it a lot more than 60 feet.
Yeah.
So, the mechanics of throwing a baseball are much different from throwing a football. Thank you. Yes, obviously. I mean, come on. Like,
here's the thing.
You don't have to throw from the mound.
So many people have failed at it.
Yeah, because it's not easy. Obviously. Like,
listen. First pitches get thrown out every single day, and we only see the embarrassing ones. We don't see the success stories. So I'm thinking there are far more success stories than there are Malik Willis stories.
Are you going to back out of this, or are you going to do it?
No. I'm doing it.
So if I can set it up, you will do it.
Absolutely, no question about it. And I will write about it. It's not as challenging as people make it out to be. I'm sorry.
Someone said Barack Obama missed the plate by 14 feet. I don't remember his.
I'm
that
sure
one
we
doesn't
can look
stand out in my mind. 50 Cent stands out in my mind.
They showed who was
Mahomes was terrible too. They showed his. Someone said they've definitely lowered the mound since Omar's internship days. I don't know.
Stephen A. They showed him yesterday.
Did he do one?
He had a horrendous first pitch as well.
Yeah.
So that he couldn't get on Malik Willis about his first pitch. So
Heat Cold says George W. Bush practice. He threw a strike just after 9/11 when he did it at Yankee Stadium. Okay.
That is true. They talked about it. They set it up at the White House, and he practiced for like days because he didn't want to mess up. I don't blame him.
Omar, it's doable. I mean, it's not that hard. Like,
why would I not be practicing a first pitch? I already made my mistake in the race with you. I'm taking the coaching from now on. I've learned my lesson.
It's doable, Omar, but again, I think it's a little harder than perhaps you are making it out to seem. So I welcome this challenge. I think we he says Willis was throwing to a spot like Tua. Yeah, there you go.
Well, hey, listen, Willis is the exact same size as Tua, so if you think he can see over the line, I'm just your line is now 6'7".
Topic for another. You know what? Nobody can see over 6'7". No quarterback can see over 6'7".
I agree.
Josh Allen's that tall. So, what's the difference?
They have to create. They have to create lanes for them to see.
So, Omar, I am going to reach out to the Marlins.
Okay.
And I'm going to make this happen.
You don't even want to get Joe Rose to throw a first pitch, like
Joe caught one for Dan Marino. I don't think Joe wants to throw one. He doesn't sit on here and say how easy it is. I would even be willing to volunteer. I'll catch it if you could throw a strike. I mean, I'll go out there and try to catch it for you if you want.
I'm not sure.
I got a pretty strong glove these days.
Oh yeah,
I've been playing a lot. I play catch every day, pretty much for the most part. So, I'd be happy to go out there, and I'll even let you train, Omar. You can come out to the park by us, and you can throw a few, and we'll see how you do. I think the mound is a little further back in the major leagues than it is for the 9-year-olds, but
with baby steps. But
we'll
yeah, I'm sorry, and I'm not calling Malik Willis out because it's everybody.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Everybody misses this thing.
You did call him out. You did. You said, how hard could it be? You absolutely called him out. You insulted him. And now, by the way, I think Malik Willis would be on board with watching you do this. Marino didn't throw a great pitch either. Someone said, I don't remember Marino's. I think he did throw. He threw a strike to Joe.
I don't know if it was a strike, but it was definitely on target.
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta just make the catcher not have to move, right?
Yeah, no, you're not gonna get out there and throw a 95-mile-an-hour screamer down the middle of the plate. I mean, goodness.
All right, I'm gonna make this happen.
All I gotta do is get the ball over the mound. Correct? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that.
Over the plate where Danny doesn't have to jump or dive or do anything crazy.
I don't believe Omar can throw it in there without bouncing or without airmailing it. I don't believe that would ever happen, but hopefully we will get a chance to find out. Omar, we're going to talk to Chris Perkins from the Sun Sentinel. We're going to dive into some of this Dolphins talk. Minicamp beginning on Friday, so we will continue the Dolphins
rookie
discussion.
Minicamp, sir.
Rookie minicamp.
They are having OTAs. They're doing field work right now. We're just not invited, and our first invite will be rookie camp. We'll get to see maybe 30 minutes of it, and then we'll be escorted out.
I'm sure they can't wait to have you out there. All right, we'll take a pause. Perk will join us next here on QAM.
Hey, right now I want to tell you about something else that's very, very important, man, your mental health.